Welcome back to Star Wars Nerds Unite, a discussion and review podcast focused on the new Star Wars canon.
Sorry.
I'm your host, timvanautreve. Joining me as always are Josh the Tosh, internet famous Mason.
Hello.
And Jennifer Van Autreve.
Hello.
Welcome back to the show, Jenny.
And Max.
And Max is here. He's on the show so that Jenny actually shows up.
That's not really his name, though.
His name's Maximus.
Yeah.
Maximus. He's here. He's eating right now. And hopefully we'll stay quiet through the show. We also have some other background noise that I'm not proud of.
It's super duper cold outside.
The Nerds Unite recording studios, as many of you know, is a walk-in attic off of one of the kids' bedrooms. And it not only looks like a tent, like a Boy Scout tent, but there is no insulation because it's just literally like the roof. So it's a little chilly in here. So
for reference, it is -2 outside right now. That's like
It's very cold.
-4 C. It's absurdly cold.
It's very cold.
And this little space heater is rated for like 6 square feet.
It's -4. It's way more than -4.
No, it's not. -10 is the crossover point where they're both the same. -10 is the same in both C and F.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Now you know.
Oh no. Yeah, so it's cold in here, so the background noise is going to kill me at some point, but if it gets warmer in here,
It won't.
we'll turn it off.
I have my hat on, and I am still cold. Like, I'm
You're wearing a
legitimately
short
cold.
sleeve t-shirt.
Well, I'm sorry that I have an expectation of room temperature.
You know what? I need some more HelloFresh insulators so I can insulate the
I've got like
Nerds Unite
20 of
studios
them.
better. Bring them over, boss. All right, here we go. We're going to talk, this episode in particular is The Last Jedi reactions. So it's been, what, a week and a half?
Yeah, I think it's 2 weeks.
Almost 2
As
weeks.
of tomorrow.
Almost 2 weeks since we released the last episode. We've gotten a bunch of emails, a lot of reactions. The internet has
Been
been aflame with nerds just chafed.
And Jen got to see the movie.
Jenny finally saw the movie the other day, thanks to Mason forcing her. Well, me forcing her by saying, honey, actually, I think maybe we could make this work. You know, I could feed Max a bottle while you're gone with your breast milk, and it's only going to be a few hours, and you can go with Josh, and you'll be close, and it'll work out just great. That was me forcing her to go to see the movie.
Against her will.
Right.
She said that multiple times.
Yeah.
I was not ready to leave, but
Yeah. Josh got her to leave by saying, don't be a Jerry like Tim, which was highly offensive to me because everybody knows that the Jerry is always the worst, lamest character in every show. And apparently that's me, the worst, lamest character in the show. But anyway, we're going to read some emails.
First, she should tell us what she thought about the movie.
I would love to hear it because you went and saw the movie, and I was so mad at you for being mad at me that I didn't want to hear what you had to say until now. So why don't you tell me what your reactions were to the movie?
Okay. Well, I was so disappointed because I was so excited to go. I was so excited for the movie in general and like the whole experience. And then it started off with me being kind of stressed out.
The fan event.
Well, yeah.
So that was the first.
I missed the big fan event that cost us $30, and I didn't get to see it when everybody else did. But I did not, in all that time, it was like over a week after the movie came out, I did not hear a single spoiler. I totally
Which seems
avoided,
impossible to me.
Especially with Nolan.
Yeah.
Oh no, he didn't even try. I totally avoided all the articles and everything out there. So anyway, we went to go see it on what day was it?
Saturday? Was it Saturday?
Saturday morning.
I think so.
Yeah, it was. It was Saturday morning, and like the theater that's like 10 minutes from my house. So it was really close, and it started out good, and then there was a speaker that was...
And it started the first time we see Snoke. Like it just out of the blue starts going...
Yeah, the speakers like popped or whatever, blown, and there was this obnoxious popping and crackling sound, so loud that you could not even hear what some of the dialogue was.
In the quiet parts, it was overpowering.
I mean, it was like one of those things where you couldn't even think about anything else. It's like you tried to ignore it.
I think after about 10 minutes, I had it filtered out.
I couldn't filter it out because it kept making me more and more mad. Like, I kept thinking, like, this is ridiculous. Why don't they fix this stupid speaker? I just wanted to be like, just can't you turn the sound off to that one speaker? Like,
so that's the way speakers work. Is there might be noise getting onto the wire somewhere like downstream of the source. So it's hard to say what's causing that problem.
I don't know. I'm no sound expert, but I was really annoyed. So other people in the theater were like getting up and walking out, and I could tell like people were angry. I figured they were going out to complain, and like, I don't know. It felt like this speaker thing was going on for like half the movie, but it might not have been that long.
I think it was like 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah. And
during the loud parts, you didn't notice it at all. Like, I didn't notice it at all. It was only during the quiet parts, which is like most of the movie.
So this employee comes in while the speaker is still going on. This woman comes in and like is quietly going to every row and handing out these passes for everybody to come back and watch the movie again another day for free because of the speaker issue. And I think some people might have just like left.
There was a few people that left.
Like just left. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not coming back. Like,
yeah, I mean,
it was such an ordeal for me to be able to leave. And then
I was in the same boat where we had dropped off our kids at our in-laws. So his Megan came with us, my wife.
Mm-hmm. My wife.
So she hadn't seen it yet. And if she was going to see it, now was the time. So we were going to soldier through it no matter what.
So that just totally made it the experience.
But then it went away before like the really pivotal parts.
It did go away. Of the movie. But I felt like that just put such a damper on the whole thing. I was just over it. So yeah, that sucked. Totally.
So what about the actual movie?
So the actual movie, I liked it. I never, like, I can tell by the way you guys talk about Luke when we're just, like, talking about books or comics or whatever, like, you guys really, really like him. Like, he's the best character.
He's the hero. He's the archetype hero.
Everybody likes him. I've never really felt that way about Luke. I've always kind of just, I mean, I like him, but, like, I'm not, like... So,
you're not in like with him.
Whatever. I don't know. I just don't have the same feelings for him as you do. So in this movie, I can see how so many people are
butthurt,
upset that he turned, like the things went this way with him. I didn't like him at all in this movie, and it didn't make me like mad that they did it. It just made me think, I don't like him.
Yeah.
I kind of thought like the whole thing that happened with Kylo turned out to be all his fault, all Luke's fault for the most part, and I don't feel like enough people blame him for it.
I don't blame him.
I know, and I don't know why.
Because he was already dark.
No,
Luke
he
saw
wasn't.
it in his heart when he was force reading him.
They see all kinds of stupid stuff that doesn't come true. They see stuff that's
I know,
just
that's
like,
what it was, a reaction. It was a reflex.
Right, his reflex was wrong. It was his fault.
But it was like a split second. And Kylo's the one that blew it out of proportion.
He readily admits that it's his fault.
Yeah.
He
does. He says that
he kind of halfway admitted it, but he didn't even tell.
He admits it.
Like Rey had to like basically beat it out of him that it was his fault. When he first told her what happened, he completely blamed it on Kylo and said, I just went to confront him, and then basically he tried to murder me and everybody else. He didn't say, oh yeah, by the way, I was going to kill him in his sleep and he caught me.
He wasn't going to kill him in his sleep.
Right.
Let's just make that point clear.
What was he going to do with this lightsaber?
He went down to the hut to confront him. And when he goes down there, he looks into his mind with the Force, and he saw darkness. He saw all the things he loved being destroyed. And he says, in an instant, or in a moment, I thought I could end it right there.
It wasn't premeditated.
No.
But he
and then as
pulled
soon as he realized what he had done, he immediately regretted it and immediately felt shame.
Right, but then Kylo saw him.
Right.
But Kylo...
Right, Kylo doesn't know. He was asleep. He wakes up and Luke's got his lightsaber on.
And then Kylo goes at him with his lightsaber.
Right.
And Luke defends himself.
Right.
Kylo was defending himself.
Luke wasn't attacking him.
Luke wasn't attacking him.
He had his lightsaber out in the middle of the night and sneaking up
understand.
on him.
But Kylo was the aggressor.
If you wake up and somebody's got like a knife to your throat while you're sleeping, are you going to sit there and ask questions?
I'm going to go in a defensive pose.
Wait a minute. Just to be clear, are you about to kill me?
So here's the thing.
Or
you got to understand, at the same time, your analogy doesn't work unless Tim and this mystery person have spent the last few weeks, months, I don't know, quietly kind of insinuating that they're going to kill each other and that they're, the exact opposite of each other. Like, Kylo knew he was going bad, right?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think he was planning it. I think he was planning to have everything turn. That's how he had the Knights of Ren with him.
Right.
It was just his students that he had turned. So Kylo was literally turning.
The wheels were already in motion.
It was already going to happen.
It was just that was the triggering event.
Right. And then Kylo used that to blame Luke for everything.
At the same time, it was Luke's fault. The triggering event was Luke's fault, for sure.
I don't think he readily admits that.
It was going...
And he didn't admit it to Leia.
He did at the end.
He said, I'm sorry, but he didn't say...
All right, so
I triggered everything.
Fault, it was my fault is the implied reason why he's saying I'm sorry.
But he could have been sorry.
You don't think that at that moment they're having like forced conversation through their brains?
I don't know. I mean,
she can feel his emotions. She's very powerful with the Force, as we see. But you're thinking too hard about...
She's a mother, and her poor innocent little boy was...
But she knows that it's not really Luke's fault.
He had turned members of Luke's academy into the Knights of Ren. They were going to attack that academy. They were already going to do what they did.
How do you know that?
Otherwise, why would they have all just gone to his side immediately? Like he goes into wakes everyone up and said, Luke just attacked me. You don't think their immediate response is going to be, what are you talking about, Ben?
Yeah, crazy man.
Right. No, it's half of you are going with me and let's kill all the other people and blow this place up.
And they had their costumes and stuff already made. They sewed up their
So we don't know about that.
Their costumes.
Well, he's referring to the Force vision Rey had.
Yeah.
We don't know if that was when they destroyed the temple, where that was raining.
Okay.
Or if that was like a future vision or just some, an abandoned plot line. We don't know. So that's the crux of the argument of most of what the internet's aflame about.
He looked pretty innocent while he was sleeping. He didn't look like he was some evil person.
Right. All we have to go on is what they tell us. And what they told us by showing the 3 different visions. Luke showing it first, his super defensive, I was just standing there and he attacked me. Then Kylo's, I was just laying there and he attacked me. And then the 3rd vision, we see the truth, which is a mixture of the two, where Luke, yes, he literally turned on his lightsaber, but as soon as he did, he immediately regretted it, and it just so happened to be, Kylo woke up and then attacked him. Mm-hmm. So, we know the truth. The truth is why would they show us the 3rd vision and still lie to us? That would make no sense, right?
Well,
from a story perspective. We have to believe the 3rd vision is the correct what happened in the story.
Maybe Snoke's still alive.
What happened in the 3rd vision that didn't,
what I just explained to you, that Luke explicitly says he didn't go down there to kill him. He went down there to talk to him.
Yeah.
And then he had a vision when he was trying to sense his thoughts. And his his response was to...
I understand. Yeah, I believe all that.
And that he immediately regretted it. And that he did not intend to kill him.
I believe all that.
All right, so then what's wrong? How does that betray Luke in any way?
I just don't feel like...
He thought he could save the galaxy by ending the threat right there. That was his immediate response.
That's the thing I don't like about Luke. He always
He's
thinks
impulsive.
that
He's
he
always
can
been
fix
impulsive.
things and do things, and he's wrong.
That's the
And-
entire point of the movie. You just explained the entire reason they told the story.
Can you not tap him so hard
I'm
into
You
the
have
mic?
to burp him.
I'm burping
I know,
him.
but
Can
it's
you burp
right
him
into the mic.
slightly softer? Like 5 decibels softer as
Just
you
like
burp him?
shake him up and down or something and have it come out.
No. I'll try not to do it right by the mic. Okay, so that
So what your
bugs me.
statement was is the entire thesis of the movie is that Luke can't be the hero.
Okay, so that bugged me. And then, so several other things, but okay, I get at the end how he's just like using a ton of energy and projecting himself from the island
Right?
to there. Okay,
Great. Yeah.
so why does that kill him, and why does he just vanish into thin air when he dies?
His story's done.
So don't think of it as killing him. Like he joined the Force.
Right.
So he chose to be a Force
Yes,
ghost.
he realized everything he needed to do,
He had done.
he had done. And it was time to join the Force.
Right. He couldn't do any more good.
Which joining the Force is like the peak thing that a Jedi could
So
do.
that's like exactly what Obi-Wan did.
Right.
But
And
everybody
exactly what
says
Yoda
that
did,
Vader
and-
killed him.
Right.
Vader doesn't kill Obi-Wan.
Right.
That's what everybody says.
No.
No, they don't.
A lot of people
Yeah,
do say
yeah,
that, but
they
Vader
do.
doesn't kill Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan,
He
vanishes.
got Luke on his journey, and so
Right.
he joins the Force. So he didn't die. Like it's hard to say that he died. Yes, he literally doesn't have a body anymore that you would recognize as flesh. But he doesn't die. He becomes one with the Force.
Okay. I've heard a lot of people say that he died.
Right, that's people that are angry that he didn't show up and destroy the entire First Order just using the Force and 16 lightsabers.
that would have been a
I
cool
didn't
scene.
want him to be like the savior or anything.
But that's the thing is like most of the people who are backlashing against
Right.
the movie,
Wanted him to be the hero.
they wanted him to be like the EU where he was uber powerful and he was, the paragon of goodness. And except in the 10 books that he wasn't, like there was tons of EU books where he was bad, like, and he was tempted by the dark side. That's another thing that I don't get. Like people selectively remember Luke not being tempted by the dark side 37 times in the EU.
Yeah. Luke was on the dark side. He was.
I know.
He was the Emperor's apprentice.
I know. But
In the old canon?
yeah, in the old
Legend.
EU.
Um,
So anyways,
Okay,
the
so-
whole thing, Luke was never going to be the hero. He can't be the hero. Rey and Poe and Finn are the heroes.
okay.
I'm so glad you liked the movie, Josh. If you didn't like this movie, I would have a really hard time defending it against you.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing you're on my
I'm
side.
glad.
I was really glad that Kylo didn't kill Leia. I didn't think he was going to, but I was really happy that he didn't.
Why are you really happy about that? Because there's a lot of
Because-
people that really wanted Leia to die. And
Why?
that first part. I thought
didn't-
it would be better if she just died.
I didn't want her to die like that quickly. I thought I would want something a little bit more dramatic, but
She almost died like so many times, and I think because Carrie Fisher obviously died this year, everybody was like thinking, "Oh, that's how." they're-
she's done.
Oh, that's how they're gonna
Yeah.
get rid of her. Oh, that's
So-
how. Oh
so-
no, wait, she's back. Wait,
the best thing about this movie in the first viewing was constantly not knowing what was going to happen. Like I was always thinking, is this thing going to happen? Like is Snoke or is Kylo going to turn? Is he going to turn the other way? Is Leia dead? What happened to Akbar?
Akbar's dead.
I know. But I mean, the whole movie had me guessing. Like even with Admiral, what's her name? Holdo. I was like, is she a spy? Is she a spy for the First Order? Is that how there's not actually hyperspace tracking? It's got to be that she's the spy and she's turning stuff in. And he built the movie. He like foreshadowed and hinted toward that the whole time. Like with the way that she was not telling Poe all her strategy
I
and all
didn't
kinds
get
of
that
things.
at all.
Oh, I
I
absolutely
didn't
did.
think that, but
What did you think of Holdo? Like, before she had her little heroic moment.
I thought she was super lame, and I literally thought she was a spy. I thought Poe was doing the right thing.
Well, what did you think, Jen?
I thought she was fine. I didn't think she was doing a bad job, but I thought she was playing it safe. And then, I thought it was funny when her and Leia were talking about Poe, because when she was with Poe, she was so dismissive of him, and then when she's talking with Leia, she's like, I really like him. So that was funny.
Well,
I liked her.
She acted like a totally different person. It was
Well,
like
she
was
maintained some type of level of professionalism
that's
and
the
tried to
difference.
be the leader and like demand respect from everybody else. But then when around Leia, she could just be herself.
Right.
What did you think of her, Josh?
I liked the character a lot.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still don't like her.
I think one of the most... I vacillate a lot on the whole plot for the Resistance, the whole movie, but I think the weakest part of it is them not telling Poe the plan, but I don't really care about that much, to be honest with you. I mean, all Star Wars movies have contrived plots, so...
I was just glad there wasn't another Death Star.
It was a way to move the characters forward, so whatever. It's not that big a deal.
I had so many other questions.
The Bulls won again.
Oh man,
They're on a 2-game win streak after their 7-game win streak.
they're gonna give away their high draft pick.
Yeah, they are. Definitely are. I can't believe how good they're playing. It's nuts.
Well, maybe if we read emails, we'll remember some of the things we were gonna talk about.
Yeah, let's do it.
There's lots of questions and discussion in the emails.
Yeah, all the emails are super long.
I really liked Rey and Kylo's Force talks. That was my favorite part of the movie.
Force talks.
Did you like the one where Kylo didn't have his shirt on? A lot of people did not like that scene.
Why?
Probably because it intimidated them.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Who-
I don't know why people don't like that. Or give...
It wasn't that... I thought it was weird how she acted like he was naked. She was like, can you please put
She's
something
been-
on? Like, she was like,
She's been living
so
on a desert
jarred.
planet by herself for 12 years.
But
like-
there's all kinds of weird alien stuff on that planet. She sees all kinds of different species.
But not hunky men.
Right.
She can't handle a man without his shirt on.
She hasn't probably seen an attractive man without a shirt on, and she was feeling things she didn't know what they were. Right?
She was confused. 'Cause
Right.
he's the bad guy.
I don't know.
I thought it was a perfectly reasonable response.
I did too. This one is from Nerd6. What's up, nerds? So happy everything went well with Max. Just makes this time of year ever more special having a baby around. Kinda sad Jen couldn't see the movie, but your guest host filled in nicely. So, the movie. I loved it. But there were things about it I didn't love, at least not yet. Things I'm not sure I liked. The side quest with Finn and Rose, and I just don't know about this. Seems like a big detour that contains its own little story for what I can only imagine was a way to get Del Toro in the movie. He's one of my fave actors too, but I did like his story, and I think the dynamic he exposed to Finn about money as fueling the war on both sides was thought-provoking. It just took me away from the story. How did the First Order know the rebels would go to that place and look for the codebreaker?
Okay, this is something that when I read this, I didn't read any of the emails until after I saw the movie. So I just read this and I was like, what is he talking about? He's acting like the First Order planted him in that jail. But didn't they just bribe him once they had captured them all together?
Yes.
Yeah, they did not bribe him until after
Right, so okay.
they got caught.
That's what I thought. I was just...
Because he had overheard that they were fueling up the transports. Rose and Finn had talked to Poe after he found out. And so he overheard that. And so he told them, hey, they're going to use these transports to try and get off the ship. And they First Order paid him and let him go for that.
So he was in that jail. Like, he was just there. They met him when they met him.
No, a bigger question is, and this is my personal belief, that Del Toro was the code breaker. The guy, Justin Theroux's character, is just a front. So that way he doesn't expose himself to the people that are looking for him. So the guy in the white jacket
Yeah.
with the rose
Yeah,
lapel,
Justin Theroux.
yeah. he's not actually a code breaker. He just puts on a front to say he's the code breaker.
He's the code breaker in the visual dictionary.
I know.
Oh.
But I'm saying it's all a ruse so that DJ is what they called him. He doesn't have a name. Del Toro's character. That way he doesn't have a outward persona to the galaxy.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So when they got caught and he surmised that they were looking for him, he radioed DJ and said, hey, they're going to go down in the jail. And then he snuck in and met them.
That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting.
Okay, sorry.
I'm going to watch it again tonight. Maybe I missed something. Also, the space chase. These ships travel at light speed. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to have a sub-light chase, which could barely outrun a glacier. So they explain that in the movie.
They sort of explain it. They talk about why they're just out of range.
Yeah, well, because the ship was smaller, so it was
it
more...
was lighter.
Right. But there was some reason that they couldn't do a force jump. I thought they explained that too.
I don't recall them talking about why the First Order couldn't go to hyperspace.
Yeah, I've only gotten to see the movie once still.
I don't think they said the First Order couldn't go to hyperspace.
Okay. It's like
the Resistance couldn't go to hyperspace because they were almost out of fuel, and they realized as soon as we jump, they're going to track us anyway.
Right.
So they just got far enough away that they were out of their range.
Right.
And they were trying to work on a plan.
Yep.
It was really cool to see ships run out of fuel. Like I hadn't even really thought about that.
Max makes a lot of grunting noises.
Yeah, he's a grunter.
They probably can't hear him over the extremely loud space heater.
Oh my gosh, it is super loud.
He has baby grunt syndrome. It's a real thing.
I'm gonna watch it again tonight. Okay. Also, the space. Yeah. It's like some weird biathlon that starts out in speedboats and then halfway through switches to wheelchairs. I get that not all the traveling is at light speed, but it just seems like the First Order could coordinate a number of the destroyers to jump in ahead of them. How hard could it have been to surround them? And seriously, does no one look out a window? They don't see a couple dozen ships leaving the cruiser? I know the logic they offered just seems like you have someone with eyes on the ship. Maybe I'm nitpicking. Tell me I'm not. Also, this mirrors Empire in a lot of ways. The chase is similar to the Imperials chasing the Falcon, but there was an asteroid field slowing the chase down. That is believable.
I would say that they're far enough away that even if somebody was looking,
they couldn't
wouldn't
see the small ships. I didn't pick up really on that many parallels with Empire. Like there's the training
at the surface level of some things. You can, if you pick out high level things. Oh, she met an old guy that trained her,
right?
On a weird
planet, right? And then they had some sort of side adventure on another planet.
And there was a posh planet that somebody... The thing is like, the guy didn't betray them until they already got to where they were going. If you really wanted to draw parallels, you could, but most of them are superficial, I would say.
Now things I liked. Pretty much everything else. The lightspeed ram, totes awesome. The connection between Rey and Ben, really cool, and provided a little shot of adrenaline in a slow part of the film. It did have slow parts. The way the island was similar to Dagobah, and that they had a strong light and dark side presences. I'm not sure I totally get the vision in the cave. I don't.
I don't get it at all.
The vision in the cave is... She was searching for an answer of who her parents were, right? That's why she went down there.
So there's only her.
The point is that her parents are irrelevant.
She's the only one that matters.
Right. And she always knew that her parents weren't important, but she didn't want to believe it.
Okay.
She kept clinging onto this idea that her parents were going to come back.
There were two figures that form one, and it ends up being her. At first, I took that to mean that Rey had no parents, like she was created by the Force to balance out Kylo, but quickly dismissed that. Everything she did was repeated by all the other reflections. I just don't get the significance yet. Again, a second viewing might help. I thought kind of the same things you did. Poe's journey to be the leader. Kylo's hesitating to shoot on Leia's ship. The team up. The breakup. both Kylo and Rey and the breakup of Anakin's lightsaber, the ending. There were really 3 endings, and the second one I didn't like. The first was Luke's ending. I did not know if it could have been done any more beautifully.
They could have edited out that black speck in the sun.
Yeah, that threw me off.
I made sure to pay attention.
Did you see the black speck?
I see what you were looking at. It's
was like, it's a
definitely
ship.
there.
Lando's coming.
Oh, I thought Lando was going to be the code breaker.
Oh, yeah, I didn't. The second ending is the one that looked like a fold-out cover of Entertainment Weekly. I hated that. Totally took me out of the film. Way too
What was the
upbeat.
second ending?
The one where they're all on the Falcon and everyone's talking to each other in the background, and it's just like a wide shot of everyone that's left in the Resistance.
Oh.
I would have preferred they do a short 2-minute of cutscenes between the players left. Poe in a leadership role, Leia and Rey, Finn and Rose. But when everyone was posing in that wide shot, I just didn't like that. And the third ending, the boy who, if I'm not mistaken, uses the Force to pick up the broom and starts sweeping and then looks at his rebellion ring. I almost teared up at that. If it hadn't been for the photo op seconds before, I probably would have cried. Oh, man.
What did you think of the last ending, Jen?
I liked it.
There's a lot of people who think it's really dumb.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
People are going bananas about
Why
it on
would
the
they think it's dumb?
because everybody's a butthole. I don't know.
I think it shows that it's just showing more that the Force can be in anybody.
Right.
Anybody
Well, not
can.
only that, it was
Anyone-
bookending Luke's story. The kids were retelling the Battle of Crate,
Right.
and it was showing how
What an
Luke
influence.
is inspired everyone.
Right. Exactly. He's still the hero
Right.
forever and ever.
It was like, I don't know if people just didn't pick up on that because I don't know. It was pretty clear to me
Yeah.
that the little figures were walkers and the
Yeah.
little guy was Luke, and he said Jedi Master Skywalker, and they were all like looking at it with like giant eyes about, you know, they're hearing this mythical tale.
Yeah. He's forever the hero, the legend.
He's the spark.
I thought it was good. I liked the kid.
So my question to you, do they kill off Leia or CGI?
I think time skip
Yep.
and
And it's in
dead
the scroll,
in the
right?
interim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says in the scroll, General Organa is dead. Something
I
like
don't know
that.
if it'll be that abrupt.
You don't think so?
No, I think it'll be more,
I think that's really dramatic. Like that's a
but it doesn't need to be dramatic. Like, I don't think that's a thing.
It
Like,
could be
General
much
Organa
bigger.
retired to Naboo.
no, I mean, they could just say that she
After General Organa's passing. blah,
built
blah,
up
blah,
the,
blah,
she
blah,
helped
blah.
Poe build up the rebellion, blah, blah, blah.
Or
And
before her passing,
Right.
she blah blah.
then there's just a couple times where the main characters talk about how much they miss Leia or something.
And then
right?
they kill her off in a book.
Maybe. Does it matter? Does she have to die anyway, other than just dying? I think she should join the Force.
How's she gonna figure that out?
She could talk to her brother about it.
Oh yeah, okay. Or her bro could call her up. Snap
Figured
her.
out how to fly through space.
Then they could CGI her for the next movie. And
Are-
she could come back.
Are the Knights of Ren going to be his new royal guards?
Maybe.
Oh gosh.
JJ made the Knights of Ren, so maybe he'll do something with them.
And then Rey's got to fight through them. Man, that'd be awesome. What is it with Luke and milk? Blue milk and now freshly squeezed creepy old man drinking milk.
I thought it was disgusting.
It was bizarre. that was the most bizarre thing in the whole movie. Well, I'm about done here. I would have to rank this as 9 lightsabers, but that's now, and I'm going to see it again in 9 hours, so who knows. Later taters, Nerd6 out, #muster, #growing chickens, #support through
Growing
Patreon.
chickens.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I know.
She's laughing.
I'm
at it.
laughing that that's what he wrote.
Hey, you didn't give it a rating. You didn't give your lightsaber rating.
Yeah, I'm not ready to yet.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I have unanswered questions still.
All right. Okay, second email from Nerd6 again.
Did you not read Joel Shipman's?
His came before he watched it though.
Were they?
His was just about getting ready to go watch it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is Adam Strange. Tillerman. Nerd leaders. I returned from my second recon of the movie,
I
and
didn't get his follow-up email.
and I was wrong. You replied to it, bruh.
Maybe,
that's why.
Oh, so it shows up in a different thread.
And I was wrong. 9.5 lightsabers. All the things that made me go meh were gone. What is the burden of all masters? Yoda said something right before that line. What did he say? I missed it twice.
I responded, it's, Luke, we are what they grow beyond. That is the true burden of all masters.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I thought Yoda was a little...
Awesome.
It was...
Well, he was a little
perfect.
off-putting at first because he was
was
so
like,
strange. But
What
then
is Yoda doing here? How is Yoda here?
he realized...
What's he doing?
I realized, like, and then I read about it. He was like the actual puppet again.
Yeah.
Instead of what they did last
He looked
time.
really weird at first.
Yeah, that's what I...
Like the first scene he was in, and then it got normal. I don't know if they changed it or what.
I
I
think the first time you see him, it's not as blue, like because there's so much fire behind him,
Okay.
or some. It wasn't at that point yet, but he was more blue the rest of the time, or you just got used to him immediately.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the puppet.
I have also noticed something about the difference in the audience of a Thursday night viewing and a Friday night. Thursday night, people are much more quiet, reserved. They seem like they have more invested. Nobody is getting up. Friday, they are much more vocal. During the Lightspeed Ram, when the movie goes quiet, I heard, "Whoa, dude, wow."
Ours was the opposite. Like our Thursday night showing had lots of people clapping.
Yeah. There was a lot of reactions. And you know, I read on Reddit today that people, like the theaters, are having to put up signs outside of the theaters and say, hey, for about 15 seconds, there's no audio at all at 2 hours and whatever minutes into the movie. Because people are so dumb, they thought that wasn't just part of the movie. Golly.
What if they put a sign up in Sunnyland that said, for about 45 minutes, there's this loud popping noise.
That's
Don't worry
completely
about
normal.
it. It's part of the movie.
So I was gonna tell you this. So I was talking to Alan. We were watching the Bears game, and we were talking about how the speaker was crackling, and he's like, "Yeah, we went to see it at Sunnyland on Thursday, and it was crackling for like 5 minutes. So it apparently got progressively worse, and they knew that it was broken."
It's a recurrent problem.
And I said, "Did you go to Theater 8 at Sunnyland?" He's like, "Yeah."
Ugh, those jerks. So they knew all about it. And they
Well, maybe they thought they had it fixed.
And they knowingly...
Yeah.
They sold me that ticket anyway.
And then you didn't even use your re-ticket.
I wasn't going
You
to
can
spend
use it for a year.
I gave
She
it away
gave it to
that
Nolan,
day.
and he watched...
He went that night and watched it again. I wasn't going to spend
Did he
another
take his
4
receipt, or did he
hours.
just take the thing?
He just took the pass.
Because if you
ticket.
read the terms and conditions on the free voucher, they're very onerous.
Oh, were you
apparently
supposed
they
to
didn't
bring your
care.
receipt?
Yeah,
Right.
you're supposed to bring in this receipt because there's supposed to be no substitution. So if you paid for a matinee, you can only go to a matinee.
Oh, geez.
If you paid for a
Oh.
child, you can only get a child
They're
ticket.
pretty picky when they're the ones screwing up. Jeez. I didn't even think about that. I just gave him the
Yeah.
pass.
They probably just didn't want people coming in watching like IMAX 3D in exchange for... Okay. There were... Luke has Anakin's lightsaber when he faces off with Kylo. The saber Kylo just ripped apart with Rey. Maybe Kylo was unaware it had split since he was knocked out, but I totally missed it the first time. That ending with Luke still on the island, it might be my fave twist in a movie since Usual Suspects.
So I pointed out to him, there's way more than just the fact that he's using Anakin's lightsaber. Like, he doesn't leave footprints.
Right,
The environment doesn't interact with him in any way.
right. And he completely misses, like he dodges all Kylo's moves.
Well, that was believable. You still hadn't, unless you were super astute at that point, you hadn't figured it out.
Oh, I had not figured it
right.
out.
But the whole not leaving footprints thing and the salt not crackling on his lightsaber, that was clear indications that he wasn't there.
But didn't him and Leia touch? Didn't they hug and they hold hands?
So earlier in the movie, Rey and Kylo touched. So like they intentionally put that part in to kind of establish that
It's possible.
it's possible that he's sort of really there, but he's sort of not.
So do you think Leia knew he wasn't really there?
Yes, she
Yeah.
knew immediately.
Movie was deaf better the second time, but yeah, Oliver loved it. Vic fell asleep 30 minutes into it, but that's normal for him. Sounds like Nora. I'm expecting a lot of feedback and 3+ hours of podcasting on this one. Can't wait. Nerd 6 out. Well, there you go. Here we go. Do you want to read the next one from Jesus? You got that one? Or you want? I mean, I can read it.
I'll read it.
All right, we'll do it.
The Last Jedi does the Force right, and other thoughts. Hola, SWNU. Awesome The Last Jedi recap episode, and glad to hear from Jen with 2 N's. Glad you and the baby are doing well.
He's giving you too much credit over there,
That's
Jen,
right.
with 1 N.
There's a dangling N there. First of all, okay. Oh my god, The Last Jedi is freaking awesome.com. I love that movie. It got space battles right, it got the Force right, but most of all, it got Luke right. He acted like someone who lost everything, a crazy hermit, much like Yoda, and someone who lost faith in the Force. I think he lost faith in himself, not necessarily in the Force.
Right.
I have very little complaints, but I did want to talk about some you guys had in the episodes and on Discord, which, by the way, we have a Discord, and there's people on it that talk a lot. We talk about a lot of stuff. So if you're interested in more immediate conversation, feel free to join our Discord.
Yeah, the link is on the website, it's on Facebook, and if you email us and say, hey, what's your Discord, we'll send it to you.
Or you can search Discord for Star Wars Nerds Unite.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Bullet point Superman Leia. This is one of those things that everyone tells me I'm supposed to hate. When Leia pulled herself to the ship, I was bawling. I loved that scene. Somebody just posted in our Discord, and it's Jesus.
Weird.
Man, way to ruin your own letter.
I know.
Jesus.
Jeez, now I gotta see what he said.
Why?
Because maybe it changes.
Pertinent to the email?
Yeah, he said, just a final note, The Last Jedi is the smartest Star Wars episode to date.
I would agree with that. By far.
I love that scene and totally bought it. All she did was pull herself towards the ship. Basic Jedi stuff, really. And she anticipated...
And it's in no gravity, like low gravity. She's in...
Stop trying to pull real physics into Star Wars physics. Let's not go down that slippery slope.
Fine.
She anticipated that the bridge was going to blow up, so she prepared to be in a vacuum for a few moments. He said minutes, but I said moments. I believe moments is more accurate. And she is strong in the Force enough to survive in the vacuum a little bit, more than the average human, so I completely buy the scene. The thing is, it's a beautifully poetic scene with the lighting and Leia's theme kicking in. Yeah, ball o'clock.
Ah, good word.
This is, of course, my very personal point of view, but I love this interpretation of Leia more than The Last Jedi's. I think he meant maybe The Force Awakens. There's also a note. You have the visual dictionary here.
Yeah.
There's a section in there that talks about how Leia trained with Luke for a while, but then ultimately decided politics was more her role.
Well, let me...
So she has had some training with Luke. Bullet point, the sublight chase. I've heard people saying, why didn't the First Order just make a quick jump ahead and intercept the Resistance fleet? I think I can science corner this one. Star Wars Explains has a great video about the Imperial blockades and why don't people just go around them. I believe that must be like a YouTube channel. Basically, what the blockades block is not space, but a specific point in space where ships typically go into hyperspace, or can go into hyperspace. If hyperspace is another dimension, or a wrinkle in our dimension, or a wormhole, then it makes sense that there are specific points in space where these are accessible. I'm going to jump in and say that I don't believe that's correct. The calculations that people are doing before going into hyperspace are not distance calculations, but quantum multidimensional calculations. I don't believe that's correct either. I believe they're just trying to chart a course that doesn't make them ram into an asteroid or a giant sun. And there are specific routes that are charted and known. They're like the highways of intergalactic space. So with that in mind, maybe they can't just fold space willy-nilly. There are specific hyperspace routes. So maybe the First Order calculated that jumping ahead in hyperspace was going to take them way further than the Resistance's fuel reserves would last. So a sublight chase was the most logical thing to do. So while I think the meat of this paragraph is completely wrong, I think the last bit is the most important bit. If somebody pinned me down and asked me for a reason, my best reason that I can come up with is that the minimum distance you can make a hyperspace jump is so big that if they jumped in front of them, they'd be so far in front of them that to then go again at sublight speed would take them longer than just staying behind them and letting their fuel run out.
Yeah.
So I'm going to imagine if they're going the speed of light, 1 light millisecond or however long you can go. There's some minimum amount of time you have to spend in hyperspace, I presume. So that distance is far too big. That's my best guess. Now, why they couldn't call in, the other Star Destroyer that's somewhere else, I don't know. The two things I didn't like, Holdo not telling Poe her plan. I mean, I get it. It served to further Poe's character arc, and maybe she didn't trust him, but still, he's pretty up there in command, and she would have needed his help. That was just dumb. Also, Holdo shouldn't have died when she hyperspaced Snoke's fleet. It should have been Leia. It would have been a nice send-out and a solution. I don't know if that's a real word.
Solution.
I think it's supposed to be solution, too. To a very obvious problem that Episode 9 is going to have. I have tons more thought, but I'll sure discuss them on Discord. They're way too much for a single email. Que la fuerza los acompañe. I don't know what that last one is. Accompany? It must be May the Force be with you. Probably butchered it.
It is.
Nerd Cinco out. So, the more I think about having Leia be the one who drives the ship in, the less I like it. I don't feel like that's how Leia would go out.
I mean, saving the Resistance?
Still, I don't think she would give her life that way. Like, I think she would do it a different way.
Yeah. Next email is...
I think if, she was against a wall, she would just get on a ship and go a different direction and say, okay, I'm on a ship by myself in a different direction, come get me.
Yeah.
While the others go a different direction. Like, she'd give herself up, but she wouldn't...
kill herself.
Right.
This one's from Andrea. Love her letters. Hi, SWNU. Firstly, congrats, Tim and Jen, on Maximus. Maximus is a great name, and he is adorable.
Thank you.
You guys are going to give him a big head. He's right here. Timothy is also a good name, obviously, but Danger might have been better. Andy once met a kid who actually had Danger as his middle name. Think about it. Max Danger. Just saying. On to The Last Jedi. What do you think about that, Max Danger, Jenny?
I think I knew somebody who had that middle name too.
I think it would have been fine.
You're a long ways from that mic.
Sorry. That's a lot to live up to. That's a name that
Alright, you're too close when you're tapping him.
oh my gosh.
It's going to be super loud even with you back there. On to The Last Jedi. Leia is a Force user. All caps. I did think it was kind of hokey for her to Superman her way back into the ship, but I totally didn't care because I was so excited that she was a very powerful Force user. I'm trying to do my best Andrea impersonation. Did it work?
No.
We knew she was sensitive since she said she always knew Luke was her brother, and in The Force Awakens, she was obviously affected by shifts in the Force. But she's so strong that she could wake up in the vacuum of space and save herself? Dang, girl. Also, my husband pointed out that Leia will now probably train Rey, along with the Jedi writings, of course. Snoke, what do you think about that? I don't think Leia's going to train Rey.
I think it will be an understated thing that she'll advise.
What do you think, Jenny?
I didn't see in the movie that Rey had taken all those texts. I read about it today.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
They show it the first time. It's like a quick that you see it, but the second time they pretty explicitly show it when she's Finn's getting like a jacket out of the drawer.
I don't know how I missed it.
You're probably just so angry.
I was like, those stupid speakers.
No, you were probably angry from the Luke part. Why did they make Luke die?
I wasn't
Why
mad
am I
that he
here? Why did
died.
my husband make me do this?
I wasn't mad that he died. I was just confused that, like, Why did that kill him? I just didn't. I thought
It didn't kill him.
I thought that it killed him.
It didn't.
I didn't know that he just was like,
He decided it was time for him to move on.
peace out.
He entered the next step of his existence.
He went full Super Saiyan.
That's right.
Snoke.
He
Josh
transcended.
Josh is right. They can't develop every single character in the movie. They just don't have the time. Even though they couldn't give us a backstory, though I'm sure there will be at least a book to do that, they made it very apparent how strong he was in the Force. He was scary. That being said, I am so glad that they surprised us and killed him off. Also, that guy knew how to spend his cash. His ship was sweet. His entourage was sweet. And good night, that gold robe was on point. His face was ugly as sin, but that dude had serious taste. That gold robe.
And he had gold slippers too.
Oh, and can we please take a moment to discuss the salad shooter death trap in his throne room? Who does that? Obviously, the First Order does not have OSHA. That's a good point.
It's pretty weird.
He was really scary. I was scared of Snoke.
Yeah, that's another thing that I don't understand the criticism. Like, people don't think it's believable that he was in charge of Kylo Ren. Like, why is he this fearsome guy? Like, I thought they did a good job of making him be fearsome.
Did you not see what he could do?
Right.
Yeah, he built the First Order.
Oh, well, they didn't tell us when he graduated from kindergarten, so it's just not believable.
I really liked the humor throughout the movie and that it wasn't mostly done by the droids. To me, it seemed like George Lucas would only use the droids to be intentionally funny. Maybe he tried with other characters and it just didn't work. Jar Jar. I love the scene where Chewie's dinner was ruined by the other porgs. That was really funny. What did you think about Chewie eating porgs?
I thought that scene was funny, but like, I thought it was kind of dumb in some ways because it's like, the porg is already dead. He's cooked.
Yeah.
Why are you guys still sitting around staring at him? He can eat you just as quickly.
They don't know that.
But I don't know. I just thought that was probably one of the corniest scenes.
And Maz with the labor dispute? Hilarious.
She looked like she was in a video game.
Yeah, she did. She looked like she was doing some VR laser tag. I read a lot of flack on this scene too. It was a, quote, Disney scene. It was just shoehorned in to get the character in. And yeah, it kind of was. But I also feel like it continues the build of the Star Wars universe. It's exciting. It's an exciting place.
I think that, yeah, there's always been little side scene things with creatures in Star Wars. That's part of Star Wars.
I do agree that Finn's story seemed forced. However, I do like that they expanded the Star Wars universe and developed his character. He couldn't wake up in Episode 9 and suddenly be ready to fight fearlessly after running from fights a number of times in Episode 7. He needed that transition, and he has an important enough of a character to warrant the time.
Yeah, I think the big thing is, like, he was always interested in helping Rey, saving Rey.
Yeah.
He had no interest whatsoever in joining
the Resistance. Okay, not sure if anyone is with me on this, but I still think Poe is Force sensitive. He doesn't realize it, obviously, but he is not just a better pilot than everyone else. He is a hugely and ridiculously better pilot than everyone else. Like, he could definitely win the Boonta Eve Classic on Tatooine. Also, it seemed like the Ice Fox was leading Poe specifically to the exit, which reminded me of Ezra. Ezra is Poe. There we have it.
No.
Rey's parents. I like that she's a nobody. So was Anakin. Boom. Kylo Ren became more like Darth Vader than he realizes. He said to Rey basically what Anakin said to Padme as Anakin turned to the dark side.
There's lots of parallels between it.
Overall, I love the movie, but I also admit that I was super excited to go see it, so I am biased right now. Tim is right. There was way too much going on to take it all in one viewing. I'm sure when I see it again, I'll catch a lot more. As much as I liked it, there were parts I was kind of bored. Not sure which parts, but I remember wondering what time it was and how much time was left. I did love how they kept the audience guessing. I was even suspicious of Luke having turned dark side after Kylo's interpretation of what happened. I like not knowing what to expect. I thought the exact same thing about Luke. May the Force be with you, Andrea. That was a really good letter. I like that one.
This one's Caravan of Courage. So I just got home from episode 8, and I was thinking.
It's from Chris. You gotta say that.
I always forget which Chris doesn't want us to say their last name, so I just was going to wait until I got to the end.
I don't think it's this one, because he's the one that...
If it's Chris Calloway,
Yeah.
then that's okay to say his name.
Okay.
If it's Chris Calloway, don't say his name.
Don't say Chris Calloway. What are you doing? Why wasn't your... So I just got back from episode 8, and I was thinking, why wasn't your episode on Caravan of Courage, an Ewok story, longer? You barely scratched the surface, didn't delve into the nitty-gritty. I'll save that rant for another time, however, and give you my rant on episode 8. I apologize in advance for the length of the letter. Where do I even start? This movie had me second-guessing and rethinking from the opening credits to the closing. Snoke died? There are no opening credits, dummy.
He meant the crawl.
scroll.
Uh-huh. I think the only one who would have seen that coming is, of course, Josh. Really, though,
Couldn't you tell
I
that
explicitly
that's what...
said it before the movie for months.
Couldn't you tell what Kylo was doing?
Yes, if you pay attention, you could see what was happening.
Yeah, when
But
it
did
was
you-
happening, but not... I mean, is it
The
overall...
preceding 1 hour of film, did you think they're really pushing to Kylo kill Snoke in this next scene?
Yeah, no. It was very... Like, when it was happening, you knew, but it was like, what? No way. No way. No way. He's going to figure it out. Snoke's going to figure it out, and he's going to do something crazy. Kylo's turning good. He's going to get
That was the
killed.
thing.
I
mentioned
no clue
this
what
in
was
our
going on.
previous podcast. You weren't here. So when we were at the Thursday night showing, you missed a lot by not going. When that moment happened in our theater, tons of people started cheering and applauding, and you could just feel, you could sense that everyone was like,
Kylo's a
they
good guy.
think Kylo's a good guy. These people are idiots.
He's redeemed himself.
And then 3 seconds later, when you figure out that Kylo is not the good guy, there was gasps.
Yeah.
And people saying, oh no. People were they bought into it so hard.
Wow.
It was great.
It was so cool.
It was such a great experience.
Okay. Now I totally lost my spot. Okay, here we go. Really, though, the whole way they made you believe in two different stories of what happens with Luke and Ben at the temple, I enjoyed, and it reminded me of the wise Obi-Wan Kenobi. What I did tell you was true from a certain point of view.
Boom.
But I'll start with the stuff I didn't like. The movie really did a lot of things well, but it wouldn't be a Star Wars movie without some downsides. I wasn't a fan of Rose's character at all, and what really cemented it for me was her pushing Finn out of the way. What? I was totally cool with Finn making the sacrifice, as his character really doesn't have a place in the movies anymore, and it wouldn't be a fitting way to go. He does have a place, though.
Would be a fitting way.
He has to be the everyman,
Yeah.
because Poe's going to be leading the Resistance, and the best starfighter in the galaxy. Rey is the
She's
Jedi
the most
hero.
powerful.
Right. He's the everyman. We have to have an everyman.
Yeah.
Or an everywoman.
Or the prequel. Or people don't like it as much.
Right.
Because that was what was lacking in the prequels.
Right. So you have to take yourself out of who your favorite characters are and put yourself into the role of a storyteller and understand there are things that the movie has to do to be successful. And then you'll understand why Finn is still alive. Phasma. Where do I even start? All this promise of a good character, and again, nothing. She was literally the Boba Fett of this trilogy. That's the entire point. Not many lines, or anything overly cool, just made to look cool, and believe she can do cool stuff, and then dies falling into a pit. She did cool stuff, with the amount of time she was given.
Sorry. I did think that their fight was anticlimactic.
Yeah.
It's okay, he hit her one time, he kind of sucker punched her and said one line, and then that was it, and then she just fell, and it's over.
Do you remember how Boba Fett died?
No, I don't.
I understand.
He accidentally got bumped in his back jetpack, and then he flew into the Sarlacc.
But we didn't have to have another Boba Fett.
No, but the point is there needed to be a villain for the everyman, and there was a villain.
I don't know why they can't make Finn more like he was portrayed in the book, where he was exceptionally good.
He was exceptionally good. The fact that
But
he could
no.
fight Phasma and
Right.
stand up to her
Or
is a testament.
even fight Kylo
But
for a
they-
short
but-
period with a
but
lightsaber.
in the movies, they make it sound like he was nobody. She says like you were always nobody.
That's because she's trash talking him.
But
That's all it is.
I understand your perspective,
Because,
and
they,
I
like, talk to
totally.
him, they talk to
yeah.
him about him like, oh, he's just a lowly janitor. If he was the
That
top
one
of
book,
the
yeah.
list, if he was actually like the top stormtrooper, he would not have just been like a lowly janitor. He would have been something higher up.
So I think the janitor thing was like a punishment though, because they started to see him being like
Not following all the rules.
right. They
I just
they
think
mentioned
that
that
book
they've.
and the movie went in totally different directions.
I can
with
totally
his character.
understand your perspective on that. It's
think-
easy to see it that way, I think, as well. But yeah, she won't get a lot of screen time because she's not the main villain. She just needs to be, intimidating enough that it seems like your hero did something, of remark. And that's all the point of the character is. I don't understand why Gwendolyn Christie gets to go on all the press tours like she's a lead character. I think she's very charismatic. And
She's very well liked.
yeah. And so you take advantage of that. The fact that she's associated with the thing you made. No disrespect to her, but it just makes no sense to me. General Hux. Why is he such a horrible general? He's supposed to be the Tarkin character, but he gets about as much respect as Matt the radar technician. I wish he was better as well. I think they didn't want to have the same thing they had in the original trilogy, which was like the carousel of dead admirals.
Yeah, I didn't. I never really thought of him as the Tarkin character. I thought of him more as the petulant kid who's like overcompensating.
I think everybody except the Force users respect him. Like,
Well, and Poe.
oh yeah. I mean, the other members of the First Order respect him except for Snoke and Kylo.
Well, Snoke does to a point. I was really, I think I said this on the first podcast, but I was really surprised with how humorous they made the opening scene.
Oh yeah, it was really funny.
Sorry.
I'm surprised they chose to do that.
Why?
Because it was too funny for a Star Wars movie.
I think there was a lot of humor in this one, and I really liked it.
Yeah, that's I thought all the humor worked, but then there's a lot of people that are like, hey, it's just a Marvel movie. Why'd they make a Marvel Star Wars movie? It's too goofy. Okay. I think so much of the movie, like, if you find the one thing you don't like, it's easy to just start nitpicking everything into the ground. Whereas if you don't have that one thing that you just despise, you're less critical of everything.
It's not just that. It's the people that went in with preconceived ideas about what should happen.
Right.
And they really wanted to pay off for Rey because that's been in the media everywhere and everybody's been theorizing stuff. They really wanted Luke to come out and be the mega hero.
You're my daughter.
Yeah.
Let's go kill everybody.
They wanted they thought all these things.
Right.
Right? And they wanted to see it happen. And then when it didn't.
You wanted
and
to
it
see
didn't-
her be a Skywalker.
I did. But I didn't.
didn't.
It didn't like make it so I didn't like the movie because I could go into it and say, I'm going to let them tell me the story. Like, I don't need to project my own idea of what it should be onto it. Let me just see what it is.
Right.
And that's, I think most of the people that didn't like it, that was what was happening.
I think that's a large subset.
I liked how they totally went in a different direction with Luke when he finally takes the lightsaber away and then just throws it away. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. It was immediately. So that's like a big inflection point for some people where they immediately said, yeah, as soon as I saw that, I knew I wasn't going to like the movie. Because they thought Luke should take it and, do what Tim
be
said.
the hero. Yeah.
Really? You're just gonna off someone like Snoke just like that? Well, those are my big gripes. Honorable mention to the entire planet of Canto Bight. I think the planet is Cantonica. And the city's Canto Bight. It might be that the system's Cantonica. I don't...
Perhaps I can
don't
enlighten
You could maybe go look in the visual dictionary.
I don't think that Kylo got rid of Snoke that easily. I think he's been playing this mind game with him this whole time.
Excuse me. I think he's not...
Trying to wait for his moment where he had this opportunity. I mean...
I don't think he's implying that it was easy. I think what he's implying is that he wanted Snoke to do more stuff. So Snoke did lots of stuff. We just don't know about it.
Yep.
Right?
Planet is Cantonica, and Canto Bight is the resort city.
There you go.
I also liked how Kylo admitted that he didn't hate his dad.
Yeah, it was kind of off the cuff, but I liked it too. The only good thing to come out of that was Benicio del Toro. Side note, how cool would it have been if Lando was the high-rolling hacker that never came to be?
I just thought of this. What was with Benicio del Toro's, like, Tourette's?
Selective stutter?
Yeah. Like, what was the deal with that? I mean...
I don't know.
Does he really need to make the character that much...
What if that was all just a play, like he was screwing with him? I don't know. We don't know anything other than what we saw, so I have no idea.
It's just like, why do you have to put that in there? It just makes it harder to understand him.
Find out. Maybe that is in the visual dictionary too.
He's in it, but I don't think that's in it. Well, those are my big gripes. I know we did that. Jeez, I just looked back. Sorry, this is already long, but...
Yeah, most of our emails were really long.
On to the good stuff. We like long emails. Luke had me going from hating how they portrayed him to telling myself it's been 30 or so years since we saw him last. He's going to have changed, if I like it or not. I could have read that better. So, that's the Luke I was expecting. I don't know. I don't know what he's trying to say there. Anyways, the scene with R2 where he plays the Leia tape got me right in the feels, especially after spending the week prior watching all the movies. The craziest force power maybe ever. I thought maybe he was going to Matrix style and stop all those blaster bolts, but a force projection from an entirely different planet? That's some next level stuff. It also explained why he looked so much younger, which threw me off at first. I thought those caretakers had found some just for men while he was cleaning himself up for this big entrance. I loved the caretakers.
Oh,
I thought they were really
hilarious. Good. Yoda, I mean, that's it really. Also, crazy Bendu Storm, that was awesome.
It was awesome.
I also like that they kept true to the wacky old Yoda and didn't make him so serious. I've seen so many people complain that he was too goofy.
That's how he is.
I know.
Yeah.
It's insane to me.
That's how he was on Dagobah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not how he normally is.
What I mean, that's what he normally was at the time when we know him.
See, but I think that is Yoda. Like, that's
Right.
Yoda. The Yoda we saw in the prequels was the...
Even in the prequels, there was goofy Yoda.
Yeah,
it was just
a little. It just wasn't as much because
Right.
he's trying to be a leader, right?
Yeah.
It does not mention his weird kind of stutter thing, but it does talk about something I didn't realize was on his hat, there's like a silver thing.
Yeah, it says
It's
don't join.
embossed, and it says "Don't join" in Arabesh, which is how he has his nickname, DJ.
Right.
Those are the words he lives by. Don't join.
So he put him on a metal thing on his weird hat.
Yep.
So he didn't forget. My favorite part, the throne room scene with Kylo and Rey fighting the Praetorian guards. Finally, guards that do more than just stand there like they're in front of Buckingham Palace. Shout out to anyone who has seen the trailers for Star Wars The Old Republic, where she uses the lightsaber as a blaster just like Kylo did to that guard. That was awesome. I'm glad they kept Rey as a Jedi, and I'm sorry to make you say this, Tim, which you'll have to say this. Otherwise, he won't have been made sorry.
But it looks like Josh was right.
Yes.
Her parents were nobody. I already said that in the last episode.
Well, he wanted to be sorry for making you say it. Which I have to say I actually like. Unless Kylo Ren was lying when he said it, but her reaction says otherwise.
He could have been lying.
So that's the whole thing. Now that JJ's in charge of the final movie, like, he could come back and
She could be Luke's daughter.
They could come back and say that. They could, in theory. It would make even less sense, but by all means, they could do that.
Yeah, and Snoke's alive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start the
That's another big theory.
hashtag Snoke is alive.
He has like just half his body.
No, so one of the big theories is like, what if
He projected
Snoke was projecting the whole time?
because he knew Kylo would betray him.
Right.
Because he was so powerful.
And what if he's just a tiny little man on a planet somewhere?
Right.
Yeah. People, yeah.
Ryan Johnson's trilogy is gonna tell the story of Snoke.
Yeah, no, it's not.
I called it here.
Maybe the whole she was born of the Force thing could still come true, as she saw herself in the Star Wars vision of the Mirror of Erised. So does anyone know what the Mirror of Erised is?
No.
I meant to look it up. I'm not familiar with that reference. It's probably like a Greek or...
I'll look it up.
Look it up. I liked her arc in this movie, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I really liked the arc in this movie. I have no idea where it's going.
Harry Potter mirror. There's that.
Oh,
there's the mirror
what?
in Harry Potter, yeah.
What book is that from? The second one?
Mm,
Doesn't it say?
uh,
Chamber of Secrets?
Not right. Out in the open. Philosopher's Stone.
Oh, so the first one. I liked her on blah, blah. On the opposite side, I was actually thinking at one point Kylo would pull a Revan and they would have a character who's kind of in the middle of both the light and the dark. I thought it was pretty cool that his redemption, as it were, pushed him further into the dark side instead of the more obvious way. I don't think it was his redemption. I think it was his assumption of his place.
Right. His place of power.
His ascension, I guess I should say. Porgs!
I agree.
Exclamation point.
I agree.
With an apostrophe for some reason.
Possessive.
What are they possessing?
Awesomeness.
I think it's just supposed to be plurality. And lots of other cool little tidbits that don't need their own paragraph. Well, why didn't you just put in more single words with exclamation points? I think this email is long enough, and I apologize for making it so long. Just so much to talk about. I hope Jen and Maximus are doing well, as are the rest of the family. May the Force be with you.
Thank you for the email. Fantastic. Next up is Jesse. This is my kind of email here. So my wife and I just watched The Last Jedi, and I'm currently writing out some notes so I can make an email for you guys, but man, oh man, am I already ready to go back and watch it again. Hope you guys liked it. I'll be listening to your podcast about it on my way to work tomorrow.
So it was his email that he was going to write an email.
Right.
His preparatory email.
Right. You want to...
Yeah, I can do John J. Best.
All right.
How many do we have left?
A lot. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Well,
10, 11,
don't you think
12.
we should read Jesse's? Or is that just another short one? Yeah, it's just another short one, so I'm not going to read that. I'll do John. John J. Best, PIA, for those wondering where he's from. SWNU crew saw The Last Jedi over the weekend. Here's some commentary. Overall, I enjoyed the main plot line. So people should know John is an older fellow. So
He's not that old.
He was alive,
yeah, he was alive when the original movies came out.
Oh.
right? Which is more...
He's maybe mid-50s, 60. The most, right?
He's not
70.
60.
Maybe 75.
Well, he's very close. I thought he was close to my dad's age. How old
No.
is he? 55? He has a daughter in college.
He's probably 50 or high 40s, if I had to guess.
I
No.
have no
I'll
idea
ask
how
him.
old he is.
I think he's mid-50s.
I'm sending him a message right now.
I'm not trying to offend him. I just assumed that because his daughter is in college and
She's graduated college.
and he didn't have
this month.
her when he was 16.
Well, how do you know?
Well, I didn't think
John
he
J.
did.
Best has a dark past.
I'm putting, John, how old are you? Jen thinks you are 60.
No, I'm just saying that was like the top end. Like he's 60 top.
I'll say 55 to 60.
I think he's probably 50 to 55. I think he's definitely.
I'm leaving the 60 in there. You said it.
His birthday is November 24th.
The very first thing I said is he's not that old.
And then you proceeded to up his age.
You said he's an older fellow, and I said he's not that old.
My point was he would be more of the people that you would think would be inclined to have a specific vision of Luke a
Okay.
specific way. In my perspective. But anyways, here we go. I enjoyed the main plot line and seeing how the mysteries of the Force are revealed themselves through the characters, but overall I would put it 5th or 6th out of the 8th, or 9 movies if you count Rogue One. The good. Seeing the discussion insight to the Force. Would like more as we try to understand the balance between dark and light. I was not 100% sold on Daisy Ridley's portrayal of Rey in The Force Awakens, but she has grown on me and her character is developing nicely. The score, John Williams, ... Yoda's foreshadowing. She has all she needs, in reference to the Jedi texts that are now safely tucked into the Falcon, ?
Yes.
And that she already possesses a lot of the traits that Luke has. It was like a double, not a double entendre, but a double meaning. The bad, I really dislike Adam Driver in the role of Kylo. He just does not seem to fit this part and seems more awkward in each movie. I couldn't disagree more.
That's the point. He's an awkward, weird guy. He's amazing.
I think he's great.
He's perfect.
He's my favorite.
Yeah, he's great. He blew my mind. I had the worst hopes for him, and he has blown me away.
How many epic, must-win battles can we pack into a movie? We have to blow up this ship or all is lost. Miraculously we do. Then we have to blow up this ship and this cannon, and seems more distraction to the main plot line than supportive. Did not like the continued similarities to prior trilogy, the resemblance to the Battle of Hoth being just a bit too much. The what? ? This is like the things he didn't like, I presume. Granted, these seem to be really powerful Force users, but the powers they are wielding seem to be becoming more and more far-fetched. Luke's hologram, this communication over distance are all brand new. Never before seen or referenced powers being demonstrated. Just having a hard time buying the capabilities they're displaying. I think it has been in the EU before, but not like you didn't consume the old EU, so
I'm fine with it.
yeah, I think it was great.
Not everybody's going to be able to do that.
And they've sort of been setting up how the Force ghosts work in the books a little bit recently, and it kind of explains how they can take physical form. So
In what book?
from a certain point of view.
Oh, okay. I've started that. I'm a few stories into it. It's going to be hard to review.
It's super hard to review just because there's some of them that are really not good.
Well, I gotta remember all the stories.
You'll remember the good ones.
I think you should just do the worst, the best.
We're not doing the worst. It's the worst noise I've ever heard on a book on tape in my life. We're not doing the worst.
You already read it, so why?
I don't want to think about it anymore.
The what?
There's
We
one.
got like 15 more emails.
Yeah, I'm still going on the what. After the Star Destroyer was ripped in two by the hyperspace ram, the docking bay lay in ruins. All stormtroopers lay dead, yet Finn and Rose seemed to survive untouched, and yet the lone shuttle is intact. Did I mention the whole docking bay is in ruins? Clearly not the whole docking bay, John. Only 98% of the docking bay lay in ruins.
The Force is with them.
Even after further damage and explosions. And not all the stormtroopers died, because Phasma was still there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a movie. It's good. The plot's going to serve the characters. One of the ships appeared to change direction after it ran out of fuel, and someone yelling, "It's falling!" should have kept going in a straight line, at least from my recollection. Don't try and assert Newtonian physics into Star Wars. We've had this discussion before.
You would think John J. Best, a member of Nerd Squadron,
yes.
he didn't even mention the bombs falling.
I think because we already...
No.
He's adding on to what we've already discussed. Interesting. Josh's repeated quoting of that Rey is nobody, almost quoted word for word in the movie. We are planning on seeing again with another family, so we will see if I can pick up more on the second viewing. May the Force be with you, and Merry Christmas to the Star Wars Nerds Unite crew.
And nerds everywhere.
And nerds everywhere. Nerd 3 standing by. John J. Best, PIA. He's probably already asleep, so we won't be able to answer how old he is on this podcast. In a future podcast, we will tell you how old John is.
Maybe he is 60.
He's
in bed
not
already.
60 years
It's a
old.
joke. It's a joke. I know you're not 60, John J. Best. PIA.
I didn't think he was.
This one's from
60.
T-Dog.
Whatever.
What's up, everyone? Congratulations to Tim and Jen. I'm glad everyone is doing good. Jen, you sounded so much better in the last episode, so I'm glad you're feeling better. Hopefully the acid reflux is gone.
It is gone.
Have you gotten any new cravings? Like Megan, she had weird cravings during the pregnancy, and then they completely went away once Lucy was born, and then she got completely different cravings.
I haven't noticed any cravings.
She doesn't drink a gallon of milk a day anymore,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so that's different.
My swelling, it took almost 2 weeks, but my swelling is gone in my legs, and it felt so amazing.
Yeah, like your skin is...
Yeah,
It was itchy because it was so stretched out, and then it comes back. And
Yeah, it was disgusting.
That was... So the thing I remember the most about when I had my ACL repaired was how much my skin itched. Because it was so stretched out from all the swelling.
Yeah.
And how much it just felt so amazing when all the swelling went away.
My heart rate is now under 100 beats per minute. It was like 120s, 130s for months.
Resting heart
That's
rate.
hypertension, right?
Tachycardia. Hypertension's high blood pressure.
Oh, okay.
So that's awesome. A lot of things have gotten
So you're
so
going
much
to
better.
be less likely to die at any moment.
Yes, I'm less likely to have sudden cardiac death.
That's all you had to say.
She's getting her looks back. Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
She was
Thank
hideous
God.
a couple
He
weeks
doesn't
ago.
care about my heart problems or the massive swelling going on in my body or any of that. It's just
She's looking hot again.
When's
my
that third chin going to
looks.
go away?
Ooh.
yeah, he's
Ooh.
already. I didn't tell him like a lot of things I wanted for Christmas, and so he was, just casually dropping suggestions like, "What about a gym membership? Is that something that would interest you?"
It was a joke.
No, it was super funny.
It was not a joke. It was a non-joke joke. On to episode 8. Josh, I also read the spoilers from Pawn. No, Tim, it doesn't ruin the experience. How do you know you didn't experience it like I did?
He's saying it didn't ruin his experience.
Okay.
Why is that hard?
So it wasn't ruined, but it absolutely was different.
I mean, I would compare it to the second time you watch it.
I have seen it twice now.
You tell me, once you've watched it a second time, if you liked it better the second time, or if you liked it better the first time.
Okay.
I'm going to suspect you're going to like it better the second time because you're not so overwhelmed
Oh, man.
by all the things, right?
There's so much.
You can focus on little things. You can listen to the dialogue better.
I've seen it twice now, and 2 more are planned when I go home for Christmas. I liked the movie, but have a few complaints. Wow.
Come on,
Jeez.
planes.
Yikes, I blew it. Where were the
He
Knights of
spelled it
Ren?
properly for
He
reference.
did, and
out
I
to the
just,
world.
my brain, that colon at the end just threw me off. Captain Phasma was a giant waste of a character.
You skipped Where Were the Knights of Ren?
I said that.
No, you didn't.
I did, but you guys were talking over me.
Okay.
Finn had his "that's one heck of a pilot" moment again when Rey and Chewie came to Crate.
Yeah.
Plus, he really
What did
has
he
no
say
purpose
then?
now.
I don't remember.
He said,
It's just, they showed a shot where he was looking up at the Falcon doing something. He went, woohoo, or something.
no, he said like,
They really hate that ship.
yeah,
Or
that's what it
something.
was. Yeah. That's what it was.
Oh my god.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Man, the Falcon when it came in, goosebumps everywhere. I was disappointed that the Supremacy was destroyed, an amazing ship that had too little time.
I don't think it necessarily is destroyed. Like, it's giant. It's broken. But, like, 3/4 of the ship is not broken, so...
It was breaking in half.
It wasn't breaking half. It was breaking into 2/3 and 1/3.
Sorry.
And they didn't show
Didn't
it...
get my
They didn't show it explode, so my interpretation is
they can sew it back together.
I think it'll be great when they show the 2/3 version of the Supremacy next time. And like it's got a new section on it being built or something. And it's like a different color, so it stands out.
Or it's
What if it's red?
Or it's
What if that whole
vertical.
other section is red? See?
Josh called it. Oh, that would be awesome. Snoke had some awesome power, and I would have liked to see more, but I understand his death leads Kylo Ren becoming the new Supreme Leader. I just didn't want to know his backstory via books or comics. Don't even get me started on Leia. Ryan Johnson said there would be a more shocking moment than Vader telling Luke he was his father. Did I miss that moment? It was Luke being on crate, but not being on crate. That was a big shock.
I think there was lots of shocking moments.
Yeah, there was.
But
like if you had to pick one
I don't think
moment to be
that
the most
Ryan
shocking.
Johnson said that. I would like T-Dog to send me a specific link to Ryan Johnson saying that.
Challenged. Overall, I really enjoyed the movie, but I need to see it a few more times before I can rate it. Preliminary rating is 8 out of 10 lightsabers. He's seen it twice, and he read the spoilers.
Lots to digest.
Hopefully you can see us soon, Jen. Can't wait for the next episode. And here it is, T-Dog.
So now I'm really confused, because the next email is from the other Chris, who doesn't want us to say his last name.
No, you just said his first name. He likes his last name said.
No, he doesn't want his last name said.
But he replied with his last name.
Well, that's how he is online.
Yeah, I know. I'm very confused, Chris.
I think
You're sending me mixed signals
No,
here.
he goes by Chris. He doesn't want his last name read aloud.
I know,
No.
but then he puts it in the email.
He's the exact opposite. There's a third Chris.
There's a third Chris?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. There's too many Chris's. I can't keep you all straight.
Oh, God.
Hey, guys.
I thought it was the Ben. No, it's the other Ben.
Is it the other Ben?
Yeah, it's the other Ben that doesn't like his last name.
I don't know.
No. I know it's a Chris who doesn't want their name read.
All right, whatever. It's Wilson. Hey, guys. Well, then read it.
I was, and you cut me off. Or she cut me off.
She always cuts you off.
Hope you're all well, and I hope I send this in time for your feedback episode. If not, I'm apologize.
I'm apologize.
Unintentional Borat. How good was The Last Jedi? I loved it. There were bits that I didn't like, which I will let you know about. But first, the loves. I loved the story and the whole conflict inside Luke. I loved Yoda and his wise advice as always. I loved how Snoke died in the first hour, which totally caught me off guard. I also loved Adam Driver as Kylo. I thought he was amazing and really liked Kylo, even though he's the bad guy. Okay, I will list what I didn't like because the I love list will go on for a while. I did not like Superman Leia. I thought it was just silly and out of place. I also did not like the Porgs.
What?
Sorry, Tim. I know you like them, and I agree they were cute and they were funny, but I didn't see the point of them. The point was to be funny and cute.
That was the point.
At least, so my daughter, who is almost 2, loves the Porgs. She's never seen the movie.
They're like the Ewoks.
Yeah.
They're just like...
Except actually adorable and funny.
Right.
Ewoks are pretty cute.
They have hideous faces.
Wicket is cute. The other ones are not.
They got those mangled
They're wearing
teeth
bones. Like
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
And they're using stormtrooper helmets as drums.
Yeah, the Porgs are cute, right? So the whole point is to make littler kids
So
like
they
Star
can
Wars,
make
right?
more
To
toys.
something.
They can
Right.
make more toys for different age groups.
and to get them interested in Star Wars.
Yeah, and they make a Porg toy for me.
We have a
Right.
porg
Age
toy in the
35.
baby's room.
Yeah,
We have several Porg toys.
she loves her stuffed Porg.
Actually, we only have 2. We have one of the pop vinyls, too.
At least the Ewoks helped fight the Empire. How amazing would it be if Rey is trained by Force Ghosts? Imagine Rey in a room training and watching her the Force Ghost of Luke, Yoda, Anakin, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan. That seems
That'd
like
be
a lot
pretty
of Force
cool.
Ghosts. Too many chefs in the kitchen.
That would be funny, though.
That is all the Force Ghosts we know about, isn't it? Question mark? I know it probably won't happen, but just imagine how awesome that would be.
That would be really awesome.
I don't think it would, but that's
I think
just me.
it'd be super funny to have her training and like they're all teaching her stuff. And
I think it
Qui-Gon's
would
like,
be amazing if they all
trying to
taught her
contradict
something different, and they did it at different times. So like,
well, yeah, that would be cool. But then they have.
I don't think
they're all
there's
together and there's
a big
dojo.
no. Join the Force Ghost Jedi Council moment. We don't need that. We just
What if Mace Windu's there?
no.
Because Mace Windu is Snoke.
He's still alive.
Oh man, I hope he is alive. Maybe he was the speck in the sun.
Maybe he was. On another note, congratulations, Tim and Jen. Hope Maximus is doing great and you guys are getting some sleep.
Thanks.
Congratulations to you, Josh, just for being you.
Oh my gosh.
I don't want to leave you out. Thumbs up. Keep up the great work, guys, and can't wait to listen to more. May the force be with you. Wilson.
Whenever I do a thumbs up now, I say number 1 because
That's how you count.
that's how
Number 1 in Europe.
Yes, in Germany they do.
I think all of
instead
Europe they teach it that way. I think we're like the U.S. is one of the few places that teach with the index finger.
I don't know about that.
Let us know, all of you foreign listeners. We've got Singapore,
if
New
you're-
Zealand.
Yeah,
We've got some in
Ireland.
We have a bunch in Germany, actually.
yeah.
If
We've
you
had
are,
Denmark,
when
Scotland,
you're counting with
Ireland.
your fingers, do you start with your thumb?
Is your
or
thumb one or is your index finger?
index finger?
Or as they would probably say, the daddy finger. Is the daddy finger one?
What?
You don't know this because you haven't gotten to the point where your young child will watch YouTube videos incessantly. But in common English, this is the daddy finger, this is the mommy finger, this is the brother finger, and this is the sister finger.
What's the thumb?
The thumb, it's not a finger. We've had this discussion, Jen. You have 4 fingers.
Oh boy.
So is the daddy finger one or is the thumb one?
My kid's not going to watch YouTube videos incessantly.
Yes, they will.
This one's from Jesus again, Nerd Cinco. He says, after a second viewing, loved that Hux went full crazy cartoon, mustache twirling evil Nazi, but he's basically a chump that gets nerf slapped by basically everyone. I like that, nerf slapped. Also loved that he went for his gun when Kylo was down, then immediately changed his mind as soon as Kylo woke up. Leia floating through space with Leia's theme playing, particles reflecting light, creating a very otherworldly ambiance, still giving me chills and the feels. Finn v Phasma with ATST/BB-8 blasting off stormtroopers in the background. Very Street Fighter.
So I wanted to. It was very Street Fighter. I didn't think about that until he sent that email. So Lego put out an ATST set for Rogue One.
That's missing a head.
But then no, so they have the ATST set for Rogue One. That came out last year, remember?
Yeah.
Now they have the Last Jedi ATST set where, yes, they took off the head and gave you a couple extra figs and like a thing on the ground that's like a broken thing. And it's the same price. And it's half an ATST.
Yeah,
Like,
and BB-8's driving it.
I thought that was ridiculous.
It was. I'm not going to be purchasing that.
No,
one.
I'm just going to take the head off of my Rogue One ATST and then plop BB-8 on it and then throw some loose things on the ground.
Oh, that's funny. Seems that a common theme is the Force speaking through animals to save the Resistance/Rebellion. First with the Lothcats and the Ghost Crew, then the Volptuses with the Resistance.
Yeah, that's because the Force wants them to win.
How did what is that? Where did that name come from? How do you know that name?
It's the name that they gave the creatures.
But when did they say that? How do you?
So they don't say it in the movie. It's in the visual dictionary. It's been said on Twitter. Like, the information's out there.
They look like
The truth
little
is out there.
foxes.
Like everything in Star Wars, if you see it, it's got a name or a model number and a manufacturer. It just won't explicitly be said unless you buy the source, the visual dictionary or the absolutely everything you need to know Star Wars book, stuff like that.
Luke brushing off his shoulder after the ATM-6's fire on Luke is very samurai.
Yeah.
Speaking of samurai, Rey and Kylo fighting over Anakin's lightsaber was extremely anime to me.
So some people don't like the whole dust.
Why? It was awesome.
Gesticulating the dust brush off. I don't think they think it's out of character for Luke, but I think the whole point of it was him trying to antagonize Kylo.
Yeah, it absolutely was.
So like
It was just to buy time.
Right. Make him so angry that he doesn't piece it together that Luke's not actually there.
Right.
Right.
Ugh, gosh. People. Sexiest Force hand touch. Hashtag Rilo. Poe saying, I know, when meeting Rey. Hashtag Ro.
So are you on hashtag Rilo or hashtag Ro, Jen? Because
I don't know
the
what-
whole Finn Rey thing's the ship has sailed on that, right? Everyone agrees they're just friends.
Yeah,
She was totally
maybe.
jealous when he was helping.
Yeah.
He was taking care of Rose.
Yeah.
She was totally jealous.
So you don't think that ship has sailed?
It might have sailed, but it's not like there wasn't something there.
All right. Do you think the ship has sailed?
No, not totally.
Okay. So then, what are you? Are you Ro, Rilo, or Rin?
Definitely not Ro.
You don't think Ro's gonna happen?
No.
Ro's totally happening.
No way. Did you already read the next script?
Yeah, I already know what's gonna
Do
happen.
you already know there's a Ro?
He's
No.
been sending notes to JJ.
There are no spoilers for whatever episode 9 is gonna be called.
Episode
I don't
9 that has
know.
not been written.
I think there's like a strong connection between Kylo and Rey, but I don't know if it'll ever be like romantic.
I think they're brother and sister.
Oh my god.
I think Kylo was lying to her.
I don't know. So like, my favorite part of the movie was when they touched, but I don't know.
Was it the sexiest Force hand touch?
I didn't think it was sexy. I just like
It was very intimate.
Yeah. And then I don't know, like I think Finn started to have feelings for Rose after she tried to save him. But it's weird because the whole time he's been so focused on getting to Rey.
But I think that's still just a friendship. Like a deep friendship, not anything more than that.
You think that Finn just likes her as a friend, Rose?
No, Ray.
He
I think Finn
likes her a lot.
I think Finn likes Rose romantically, and he likes Ray as a friend.
He's liked Rey as a romantically.
No,
from the
I
moment
think
he
from
met
the
her.
beginning, it's always been as a friend.
No way.
Yeah, way.
He was like so totally trying to impress her as soon as he met her. Remember when he was like boasting about being in the resistance and trying to impress her, and
Yeah, I remember that.
That's true.
Han's line about
They always
girls
know.
always find
They
out the
always find
truth.
out, kid.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he's always wanted her.
So
So you're still thinking Finn and Ray. Finn, Ray.
I don't know.
Frey.
Rin. Rin is what we got to go with.
Could be. I just don't really see Ro. I think it could be.
Oh, Rose happening. Book it. Just like Snoke, you know, the Ray nobody, Ro is happening.
Snoke is nobody.
This is my seal of it's happening.
Okay.
Biggest take, though, is that the balance in the Force is a huge theme. I loved that this movie acknowledges Vader's prophecy because it has.
It is.
It is his sacrifice that ultimately leads the Force to create Rey. Yes, from a certain point of view, Rey's powers comes from a Skywalker. If it wasn't for Vader's sacrifice, the Force wouldn't have been unbalanced and it would be all dark side. But because the rise of Kylo needed a counterpart in the light side of the Force, manifested itself in Rey. Even Luke pointed out that Rey was just Rey. So ultimately, it wasn't about the mighty Skywalker blood, but about the Force seeking out balance. There's also a lot of hope. Hope was like the theme.
Yeah.
Also, the Millennium Falcon needs another dish. Did it get blown off?
Yep.
I didn't
Down
even
in the
notice.
cave.
Oh man, that's great. That's all I have for now. Nerd Cinco out. P.S. Benny, get into Discord. Miss your Musk.
Do you have to do something with the laptop so that the Chewie doesn't?
No, I did that already before the episode started.
Yeah. You would know because there would be a little bar right here with
Yeah, at the
squiggly
bottom.
lines.
Scott
No.
sent an email in, but it's just
It's just a link. I told him to write an email, and that's what he did. We're not talking about it. So then Jesse sent a little snippet about how I don't remember if it's in the visual dictionary or a different book, but there's a reference that Snoke may have had another apprentice. So I'm going to skip over that.
we also, I wanted to say thanks to Ben. He sent us a package for Maximus
Oh yeah.
with
That
some
was very
very
nice.
cool Etsy style Star Wars baby booties.
Booties.
And a
Just what
Christmas
babies
card.
need.
Yeah, and a Christmas card.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good looking card.
Yeah, it was.
You got a good looking family.
All right.
It was
Lady
like,
Meg
It was all like photoshopped together.
with her biblioteca. Greetings, Nerd Masters.
Whoa. We got other emails before that.
No, we don't.
Christian. That's another one that you probably replied to.
Okay, I'll do that one.
Oh, BT dubs, Spotify is the jam. Like, it has twice as many downloads as every other source.
Yeah. People like Spotify.
Yeah.
Well, and now that Apple Podcasts is hot garbage, that
Man, our downloads on Apple are terrible.
it's because it's hot garbage. Nobody uses that anymore.
That's a shame.
Christian Dvorak. Hey guys, and Jen. I recently tuned into your podcast on Spotify and instantly fell in love.
With Jenny, probably.
So is this one about The Last Jedi? I don't think it is. It's not. We shouldn't read that one yet.
Well, I mean, he's a new reader, right?
All right, whatever.
You're already in it. Oh, she's sighing. She's giving her sigh.
I've been a huge Star Wars fan for my whole life, but I've never delved into any of the novels or comic books. Usually something about the Star Wars universe would intrigue me, and I would check out Wikipedia or something similar and read the synopsis of a particular story. I really want to jump into the actual novels. Do you have any suggestions? We had sent a couple suggestions. If you're in a similar situation, we would recommend Lost Stars and Bloodline. In that order, those are books. And if you want to do comics, then both Vader series are good. The Lando series is good. If you're into more comic booky type of things, the Star Wars series is good. Which is still going, right? They haven't rebooted that one.
No, it is still going.
Yeah. So that was, yeah, that's Christian's email. I summarized the end a little bit.
Yeah, thanks for the email. Thanks for finding us on Spotify. I wish people could rate things on Spotify. This one's from Carrie. No, from Maddie. Sorry.
What happened to Lady Meg?
Matt, this one's first.
Did I not get this one?
Yeah, you did. You replied to it. How can a movie break my heart but still be so good? I saw the movie yesterday, absolutely no spoilers, that I understood, and I enjoyed it a lot. I had my hopes up for Rey being Luke's daughter, and now I'm crushed. I was really upset when Luke died. I liked the part where those icicle wolves led everyone to safety. They looked a bit like loth wolves, and Rey lifted all those rocks. I also expected Leia to die, and was surprised when she made it out of space. Poe is my new favorite character simply because of the line, permission to jump in an X-Wing and blow stuff up? With Kylo killing Snoke, I like how he did it for selfish reasons like most tyrants. I definitely ship Finn and Rose.
Yeah, I was like,
It is adorable.
you had to be taught what that meant on an earlier podcast.
Yeah.
What?
You had to teach us
You
what
guys had
ship
to
meant.
teach-
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because I had no clue what it was.
It still makes no sense to me, but I understood what she meant.
What are you talking about? How does that... You were
I-
part of the Twilight craze, were you not? Or are you Team Edward, or are you Team... What's his face?
Yeah, but nobody ever said, I ship Edward.
That's because somebody had not distilled that phenomenon into one word yet. But everything you know what this is. You know what it encompasses, all that it entails. Now it's just been honed and shaped through the wilds of the internet into one word.
Oh my gosh.
So now when you say, I ship Finn and Rose, you know exactly what we're talking about.
I think that there's words missing from the sentence is what
It's not a
I
sentence.
think.
It's a one-word thing.
I know. I know what it means. I know what you say it means, but it does.
That's
doesn't
totally
make
what
sense
it
to me.
means. Ask your kids.
I believe you. I just don't think it makes sense. Anyway.
I'm
keep
just
reading.
old. I'm like 65.
I'm between 50 and 60. But not quite 60.
What do you think of Rey and Poe?
What do you think of Rey and Poe's meeting?
Was I the only one?
Was I the only one who detected a hint of romance?
Nope. They totally had a hint of romance.
Who exactly was that purple-haired lady? What do you know about her?
Exactly what the movie tells us.
Yeah, I don't know anything else. Although the visual dictionary may tell
It's
me
only
something.
got like a paragraph about her.
What did you think of Han's dice? I never picked up on the dice being in the cockpit, and I guess they have been, or they were
Yeah.
in the first movie.
Those are the dice that Han uses to win the Falcon off of Lando.
Is that confirmed? I just heard rumors.
I mean, I think it was explicitly in an EU thing. And why would they have any reason to change it? We know he won it in a game of sabacc.
A game of chance. How was it that I can handle Luke's death better than Han's death? Because Han's the everyman. Han is far more relatable.
Because
Han
Luke was a bad guy. And it's all his fault that Kylo
because
went
Luke was
evil.
murdered. Or, sorry, Han was murdered. Luke
By his
ascended to the Force. They're totally different. One, I totally understand not handling well. The other one should be, you know how people have those life celebrations now instead of funerals?
Yes.
That's what Luke did.
Did you hear Jenny? Yes.
Celebration
so
of life.
dumb.
No, they just seem so depressing. I've never had to go to one, but it seems so sad.
I've been to a couple.
While
Not-
they were still alive?
No. While they were dead.
Oh, okay.
Who has a life
people do
celebration
them-
before they die?
Some people do.
Really?
Yes.
That's weird. No, I'm saying like it's
When they know they're like very, very near dying.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
weird to me.
Yes, and it's very sad.
So anyways, we should celebrate Luke joining the Force. Whereas Kylo murdering his father should be maligned and should be shocking. So that's why you feel that way. Your subconscious is correct. It has correctly processed these things.
When the Falcon's shadow showed up, I was grinning ear to ear. With the Clone Wars, I can usually tell who is going to die next, but this was not like that. I loved when Leia slapped Poe.
I love that too.
Overall, I give this movie a 9.8 lightsaber rating. I apologize for how choppy this letter is, but you get the idea. May the Force be with you, Maddie. Oh my gosh, Lady Meg's email is like a doctoral
I really
thesis.
did like when Leia slapped him too.
So people have complained about that
Why?
quite a bit. So you have to remember, a lot of the people, I won't say a lot, there's a section of people who like Star Wars who do not like Rey because Rey's a woman, right? And they don't like the idea of a woman being in charge, period. Like, it just doesn't, they can't identify with it and they think it's
But
wrong.
Leia's always been like that. She's always been a strong character. And
I agree.
Said and did what she wanted. And
I agree, but they see her physically reprimanding Poe, and I don't know. It rubs them the wrong way.
She's like a mother figure to him, though.
Well, so I would never slap my kid. Would you slap your kid?
I would slap Nolan. Not like that. I mean, I've never slapped him across the face like that, but if he
Yes.
was a grown-up, if he was an adult and he did something that dumb, I could see myself slapping him.
I don't
If he
know.
was like 30 years old, like Poe, I think he could take it.
I still don't think you would slap him.
No, I have slapped him.
Oh man.
Not like that. I'm just kidding.
BCFS is coming. They're already knocking on the door.
No, I'm just joking.
So I think that
I guess, I don't know.
I thought it was very old school movie trope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where the lady slaps the guy, but whatever. I thought it was fine.
So do people not like it because she's a woman and
Yeah.
slapping him, or just because of it's
they
like,
felt that
it's
she
abusive?
disrespected him, and you would never do that to an underling in the military, and and
Really?
Yeah.
You would never do that in the military.
that's
I don't know.
arguments they make. Lady Meg, greeting nerd masters. Here's my contribution to the pile of the Last Jedi feedback letters. We should have printed them off and seen how many sheets they were. It's a lot. Really loved the movie and was shocked to hear how much some fans hated it. Also, I said it on Discord, but I'll repeat it here. Great job on the review episode, and Nolan was a great addition. You should have him on more often.
How did Nolan...
You should listen to it.
Yeah, you should listen to it.
Or you could just tell me.
But you could
How
just
did he
listen.
like the movie?
He liked
Did
it a
he
lot.
have any complaints at all?
He did not complain about much of anything.
Why don't you listen to the episode while you're sitting at home all day?
Maybe you'll be
I'm
able to
kinda
resist the
busy.
urge to slap him next time.
Because you'll think
I
about how
don't
good he did
slap
on the
him.
podcast.
What?
Because you'll think of how good he did on the podcast. You'll be too proud to slap him.
I'm not going to slap him.
Oh, I'm not going to hit you. You did a good job on that last podcast. There was a lot of death in this film, which makes sense considering the circumstances, but to me it felt like the characters barely acknowledge it. I guess there's not really a good point during the film, but I was expecting a few moments about it at the end. The remaining Resistance members toasting their fallen comrades, or Kylo Ren being officially introduced to the Legions as the new Supreme Leader. Between the lack of those moments and how shockingly quick the deaths were, it feels like those characters weren't really as important as I thought they were. Maybe that's the point? I did feel that Luke's death was very epic and fitting. He spends most of the film as a bitter hermit who closed himself off from the Force. But when the end proves that he's still just as powerful as ever and just as willing to support a cause he believes in, I like that we get to see that he's not perfect. Maybe he was only one mistake. Maybe it was only one mistake, but it was at the worst possible moment and he lost everything because of it. I'm really, really curious about the next movie. With Kylo being the Supreme Leader, Snoke was just a generic super powerful bad guy who we all wanted to die, but Kylo is a character with a lot more depth. Even if he ends up becoming completely irredeemably evil, he's still descended from all of our old heroes. That's especially interesting if Rey turns out to really be a nobody. She is. Speaking of Rey, I'm still not 100% convinced that she's nobody and her parents are nobody. It's not that I have a problem specifically with her being nobody, but it would be annoying if they spent 2 films asking who she is and who her parents are, and then the answer is merely nobody. Unless they can find or can get the perfect setup between how Kylo is related to everybody but doesn't get to be the hero, and Rey is related to nobody but can still save the day. That could be a very interesting message, but could be tricky to handle properly. I feel like they've already established or laid out their argument for that message, in that you don't have to be descended from somebody in order to be good or to be powerful. Like, that's kind of the whole point of the new trilogy. All of the characters, all of the main characters other than Poe are, they come from the opposite of what you think a Star Wars hero would come from.
Anyone can cook.
That's right. A few more points. The Finn Rose storyline was really interesting on my first watch, but on the second viewing, when I knew how pointless it was all going to be, I was really bored and impatient with it. It was interesting to see the underdogs who we thought were going to save the day end up failing, but much less rewatch value. The scene with Luke milking those creatures was gross to the point where I thought he was either deliberately being gross to drive Rey away, which he was, in my opinion. He looks right at her as he's chugging it.
Yeah, he does.
And he just really didn't care that much, and it was meant to emphasize to the viewers how unheroic he is. Maybe both? ? Close up of the iron that made it look like a spaceship made me giggle. Did anyone else think, I don't know what FLCL means, but that's a reference to an old movie called Hardware Wars, where they used irons to they used irons in place of Star Destroyers. My this is a question. Fave line scene from the movie? I'm torn between the Rey-Kylo team-up and the moment I realized Luke wasn't really there with Kylo. And Holdo's lightspeed attack at the end? Wow. Absolutely loved Rose's, that's how we're going to win, not fighting what we hate, but saving what we love. But since she said it in the middle of a battle, so much was happening that I almost immediately forgot it. I wish it had more weight. Plot speculation for episode 9. I want to know why no one answered the SOS. Maybe a huge army will appear to save the day. I kind of like the idea of starting the movie with Leia's funeral. Nothing would more clearly and shockingly paint how dire the Resistance's situation is, and it would also mean no weird CGI or recasting of Carrie Fisher. Thanks, and may the Force be with you, Lady Meg. So they already did the handoff of leadership of the Resistance, right?
Yeah.
They did it. So what if she just goes and trains with Rey, and then Rey comes back and is like, yeah, she died a little bit ago. Like, she doesn't need to be part of the Resistance anymore.
Yeah, that could happen. She joined her brother.
Yeah.
She's with her brother. Where's Leia? She's with her brother.
Two more emails. What was
your favorite scene in the movie, Jenny?
I really liked, like I said before, my favorite part was the Force talks with Kylo.
The connection, the force connection between the two.
I don't know what my favorite part was.
I liked when I really liked the beginning scene. I liked all the humorous parts with Poe.
I really
don't know.
like the part with Yoda.
Yeah, the Yoda scene is great.
I think I'm gonna say that part for my first reaction. I need to watch it again still.
I don't know.
This one is
I
from.
have one specific favorite scene.
This one's from Araxis. He says, "Heyo, STNU crew, Star Trek nerds unite." What? Wrong podcast,
Star
buddy.
Trek geeks converge.
So here are my thoughts and theories on TLJ. First and foremost, it was awesome for the parts I was awake for.
Red face.
So he doesn't talk about it in this letter, I don't think, but oh gosh, on his first viewing, he fell asleep. Unreal. So many great scenes, except for Superman Leia through space. Thanks to Josh, I read the spoilers ahead of time, so once I fell asleep and woke up, I knew exactly what I missed. Haven't gone back for a formal second viewing, but have rewatched scenes online. I don't believe Snoke is actually dead. He was so powerful he could smash Hux from across the galaxy, could bridge Rey and Kylo, could ship them through the Force, and could feel and read every thought Kylo had before he thought it. In the throne room scene, I believe he was testing Kylo's allegiance. The look of shock on his face after Kylo sliced him wasn't from dying, it was from his realization that Ben had betrayed him. Also, after Snoke died, the Force bridge between Kylo and Rey was still active. Also, another reason I think he is alive.
He's dead.
Think about this for a second. When Luke projected himself on Crate, he was younger, beard darker, closer to his image from Return of the Jedi. Same with Snoke. He looked healthier, his voice better, and he moved much more fluently than his hologram in The Force Awakens. It was all an illusion. If Luke could create a force projection of himself kissing Leia and dodging attacks from Kylo, I feel Snoke could do the same. He wasn't really there, just like the cubes in Kylo's hand.
I don't think he could do the same. I think he's dark, and that's not a trait of the dark side.
He's alive.
He's dead.
Did we ever see the real Snoke? He was always in the throne room.
He died.
We haven't seen him anywhere else. Also touching on Yoda and Force Ghosts in general, it appears we don't know all there is to know about them. How crazy was it when Yoda pulled a Thor and manipulated matter to bring down lightning from the sky and prevented Luke from entering the tree? In the Clone Wars series, we see Darth Bane talking to Yoda from beyond the grave. As Yoda stated in the Clone Wars series, it seems there is much much about the Force we do not know. P.S. Question mark. I don't think you meant a question mark there. In The Last Jedi Complete Visual Dictionary, it explains how Snoke navigates the unknown regions. We get to see one of his navigators in full costume who does not appear in the movie, but does seem to appear in the trailer in the background of the throne room scene. Take a second look.
It's that big purple dude that you were looking at earlier.
Now maybe this is a stretch. The image of the Prime Jedi at the First Jedi Temple looks very similar to Snoke.
It's a big stretch.
This image is of a person who is split down the middle between light and the dark. A person who is balancing both forces. One could say it looks as if someone has been cracked through the middle. Who do we know that has a crack through the middle of their head? Like I said, maybe a stretch. It is too much of a coincidence for me. Also, I'm curious how Luke and Snoke know each other. So I guess this was more of a Snoke rant, if anything, but it's got me thinking about a lot. I'd love to hear anyone's opinion on this or any other theories. I get jazzed on some theories, y'all.
Who said that Snoke and Luke knew each other?
Well, it's hinted at that the main characters know Snoke. Like Leia talks about how she thinks Snoke turned him, which is interesting because it makes you wonder what Luke told her, right?
Yeah.
This is the
That's
navigator
what
dude.
I was saying in the beginning, he never really took the blame.
He does by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And then Luke talks about Snoke too. So they talk about it in such a, I don't know, common way, like
they all know who he is.
Yeah.
Okay, that was from Araxis. Next up,
No Snoke theories. Snoke is dead. All right. The last email of the night from Jonathan Wright.
That's my boy Big J.
Yep.
I haven't heard from him in a long time.
No, he hasn't sent a letter in a while. What up, nerds? This is probably the first time I've written in. It's the second time at least. You've sent at least one. But I recently had a long road trip during which I was able to catch up quite a bit on the podcast. I have a lot to say, but I'm probably going to mainly respond to The Last Jedi. For that, however, I have to say this. Jen, I know we've never met, but your synopses are the best.
Oh,
Just FYI.
Thank you. I haven't read this email, so that was great.
Thanks a lot, John.
He answered a question. Josh, when Landmark played old movies, it was called the Rerun Film Series. I'm pretty sure the animal on the shirt was a buffalo, and I'm pretty sure Chad probably still has that shirt. I don't know, Chad might not have that shirt anymore. Well, I'll ask him. Side note, one time I went to Landmark, and some of the other theater goers were definitely sneaking in alcohol. It's a classy place.
Yeah, we were talking about Landmark the other.
Yeah. Tim,
podcast.
way to be present. Bless your heart.
Shut up, John.
Bless your heart. Oh, bless your heart.
I run the show.
Anyways,
I make this show happen.
The Last Jedi. This movie seems to be fairly divisive. Overall, it has some really good highs, but it also had some really bad lows. The first time I saw it, I thought it was fine, but I kept thinking about it afterwards. In my head, it just kept getting more and more awful, to the point that I actually started to dislike it. There's so many parts that aren't needed, too many overt references to the original trilogy, too many underdeveloped ideas or characters, too many ideas or characters pushed into the movie, too many questions from the last movie unanswered, and I could go on. Honestly, my biggest beef is that it seems like Disney is burning down the whole franchise just so they can start anew. I'll admit that there were some serious garbage in the old EU, but the world building that it created, how we got to follow all the characters through their lives, is part of the reason why I stayed a fan. It just seems very odd to have something that you have poured so much time into be erased, and then you have to start all over again. I think the big problem is, like, there's too much out there in the EU.
It's a dark side trait there, John. Attachment.
Like, which part of the EU do you pick? And not just have to throw away wholesale the rest of it. And you have actors who play those main characters who are mega old. So they wanted to have that continuation of the story aspect of it to rely on the nostalgia. But at the same time, they couldn't tell the stories in the EU. None of them are that good. Right?
Well, and none of them are going to be a surprise, because all you have to do is
Right.
go read the book.
Right.
So they, in order to sell things and make it more interesting and get fanboys talking, they had to make it all new.
Yeah.
I get it.
However, I saw it a second time. Oddly enough, it got better for me. The faults are still there, and they're still pretty major, but the second time helped me to enjoy it more than the first. I wasn't analyzing it as much, and I had time to link the faults and successes to the same faults and successes that were present in episodes 1 through 6. I'm still not saying that it was a good movie. If I had to rate it, I'd probably only give it a 7. But it's still a fun movie, had cheesy parts, bad dialogue, fuzzy cute creatures, pretty much everything that makes a Star Wars movie a Star Wars movie. On another note, I actually enjoy watching Rebels quite a bit, so I'm trying to catch up on the Rebels episodes. Keep on slogging through those episodes. The end will be in sight eventually.
We're caught up.
We are caught up. He must be mired in the middle of season 2 of our recording of
Yeah.
Rebels.
John, I appreciate your email. Next time you email in with the episode 9, I'd like a little kinder words.
Kind words.
Way to be present. Am I that useless
my
on this
God.
podcast? Also, what a Debbie Downer to end the podcast on. We got
Hey.
a negative email.
There
Got a
had
lot
to
of
be-
positive
I
ones.
was just going to say, like, it sounds like everybody that emailed in overall really liked the movie.
Yeah,
despite
people.
how many people you say don't like the movie.
It's the the vocal people online are the ones that didn't like it.
Right.
Or I said that backward, but you get what I'm trying
The
to say.
people who don't like it are going to be way more vocal than the people who like it.
But everybody who took the time to send an email liked it in general.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, there's not one person that said, I hated it. Or it was awful.
Not of the emails we've received.
Yeah, we've received
I feel like
ton of emails.
Angry Farmer is about the only person I can think
I
of that will...
said something. I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, I can't wait for his email. Because he hated the first one.
Oh, yeah, he hated The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Man, his head's going to...
He
I
gave
think
it like
he's
a
really-
1.
If I remember right, I think he's like John. He's somewhat attached to the old EU.
Yeah.
So yeah, it totally throws... Like, if you've got a vision of Luke, and if somebody tells you otherwise, you're going to throw poo at them. You're not going to like this movie.
Did you see what
I hope he does like
Did
it.
you see what
I hope so too.
Andrew said on Facebook?
Yeah.
He thought it was the worst.
Tim's brother. Well, one
worst
of his,
movie.
yeah,
Not
his
just
younger
like
brother.
worst Star Wars movie, but like worst movie
He was
ever.
not... happy
He was,
about it.
he was not a fan.
Was he super into Luke? Like, is that why he didn't like it?
I think he's super into the EU.
He didn't know that much about the EU.
He's got all those toys that are linked to the EU.
Yeah, I guess so.
He must know
he
some
didn't,
of the
He didn't
story.
like read all the books and stuff like we did.
I don't know. I don't know what to say.
I mean, he
He-
played
he-
like the video games and stuff,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, he was not a fan of the movie.
it surprised me. Old man liked it. My dad loved
Yeah?
it.
Yeah, he said it was the best. He thought it was smart and funny.
Well, old man saying it was smart is not. Don't put that on the Blu-ray.
He thought it was well thought out. He said it was well thought out. It was funny. It was a great movie. He thought it was perfect.
It was a good movie. It was fun. It was a good Star Wars movie for sure. If your objective is to nitpick every little detail, then yeah, you might not like it because there are definite things that you could nitpick.
Yeah, probably if you were the nitpicky sort, which apparently I'm not anymore.
You've grown old and
My
wise.
nerddom has very much changed as I've gotten older. I've matured.
You've
I've become much more
You've got to
open-minded.
expend so much energy on things that aren't related to it that when you consume it, you're more accepting.
Yeah, I can just
Enjoy
experience it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we are everywhere on the internet, believe it or not.
I didn't get my rating.
Are you ready now?
I didn't realize that you
After
needed the letters. to do
2
it.
hours and 8 minutes, you're finally prepared.
I think that my rating would be a lot higher if I would have had a better experience, movie-going experience.
You'll have to go again.
If I could see it again in a non-crappy theater.
You should go with Jeff. Jeff still hasn't seen it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
so weird.
Why didn't he go?
He was gonna go and I don't know. He's so contrarian. Like he gets these weird moods about something and he sets
you
his mind to it.
You cannot convince him otherwise. Is he thinking it's terrible because
No,
somebody else said it was terrible?
No,
Oh,
so we talked about. He kept on asking me about spoilers, and I'm like, "Do you really want to know the spoilers, or are you just doing this so that you can cop out and say you don't need to go to the movie because you know the whole story?" And I eventually told him and showed him where to get spoilers and stuff, and so sure enough, he didn't go. But he wants to go. He says he wants to go.
So I'm just gonna give it an 8. But
That's pretty low on the Gen scale.
I know.
Yeah.
I think that there's nothing about it I hate at all. There's nothing about it I dislike too much. I just think that overall the experience was tainted for me.
Tainted.
It was tainted.
So it's a provisional 8 until you can see it again
Yeah.
without a speaker popping for 45 minutes.
Yes. And
All right.
without the baby guilt. I was
gosh.
like,
Good Lord.
I was like literally.
I thought she was gonna kill me when
almost
she came
crying.
home.
And my way to the theater was awful. I was.
What am I doing with my life?
You're so crazy.
Why am I leaving my poor baby at home?
He's with his dad. I had him. That's probably why she was scared.
No, I wasn't scared. I didn't think anything bad was gonna happen to him. It's just hard
Why?
Now you've taken that jump.
because I hadn't been away from him
She
yet.
has not taken that jump since then. Now she has like
She's doubled down.
PTSD over it.
I can't leave. I can't leave.
Can't leave.
Let's sell all the cars. We're gonna become gypsies
I
and
have
just.
to go to the dentist tomorrow, so I'll be away from him a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, he'll be in the next room. with me. Unless I take him to my office.
Why would you take him to the dentist?
Because she can't be away from him.
No, I don't have anybody to watch him.
You have Tim.
I have to be at work.
He's gonna come with me. He's gonna come meet me there and watch him.
Anyway, so yeah, like I was saying, we're everywhere on the internet. We love all of you. Thank you for your emails. Send us some more, and rate us, review us everywhere. Use our Amazon link to return all your Amazon gifts.
Does returning gifts get us money?
No, it doesn't. It was a joke.
I think
It's really funny.
We can do this book and the art book next.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So
The visual dictionary.
the art book has a lot of words in it. For being an art book, it's more book than art. So
Sounds
far,
awesome.
yeah, it's got a lot to digest. So if you haven't sent a letter in yet, we'll do more Last Jedi feedback in the next.
Something I haven't done in a while. Thanks to the Fantastic Plastics for doing our theme song.
Oh,
It's super
yeah.
rad.
So the guy Chad who went to the movie with us,
Yeah.
not the Chad John Wright was referencing, for the listeners at home. He was when we were at Buffalo Wild Wings. He's like, I really like your new theme song. Like, what are you talking about? Like the theme song that we've had for 2 years? He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I just got to like 36 or whatever when you started playing the theme song.
Was
really
it
good.
all way back in 36?
I think so.
I thought we had it way earlier than that.
I don't know when it was, but he specifically mentioned about
What
how
did
he
we
liked
have before that?
just random
No,
Star Wars
no.
music that I made. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. When he first said it, I'm like, what are you talking about? We've always had that as our theme music. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, that didn't exist at first.
Huh. I forgot about that.
So that's interesting. I wonder how many people have that experience.
He thought it was new, huh?
Well, yeah, because I mean, he usually only listens when he mows.
Oh, Chad Fouts.
No, this is a
A different
Chad. you
Chad.
don't know.
Another Chad that only listens when he mows. Yeah. Oh, and we're on podcast networks, BenView Network and Retro Junkies. So, what a long episode. 2 hours, 12
We're over
minutes.
3.5 hours on The Last Jedi
Yeah.
now.
May the Force be with
May
you.
the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
Did you hear that? We're doomed.
This podcast is a part of the BenView Network.
You can find this and other podcasts like it at BenViewNetwork.com.